This is international soccer celebrity Chris Doran, and you're listening to ACES Radio.
I'm not sure in American sports we've ever had a collaboration from the city, the state, and the national level where that movement, for lack of a better word, that collaboration saved a franchise for the city.
Ignited by the passion of your fans, by the Save the Crew movement, thanks to the work of the city, the county, the partnership, the belief and commitment of the Haslam families, the Edwards family, something unprecedented in our industry and something very meaningful was accomplished. And to the Crew fans and the whole Save the Crew movement, you inspired all of us to recognize what the Crew means to this city, what it means to the sport of soccer in America, and clearly to Major League Soccer. Without it, I don't believe we would have been able to inspire the Haslams and the Edwards families to join our league and to align the interests of the city, the county, and the partnership to deliver on an incredibly ambitious stadium project, and frankly, to motivate the league to creatively find a solution to a very, very complicated situation. And I want to thank you for that.
The Save the Crew movement, as has been noted, has done something that's never been done in the world of professional sports. I remember the rally on City Hall shortly after the announcement was made that this team may leave. And never once did the Save the Crew movement ever lose faith. It is probably the greatest show of fan support and accomplishment in the history of professional sports.
You guys saved the Crew.
That's pretty dang cool.
Now, shall we begin?
You are now listening to an altogether less fashionable variety of soccer podcast. Broadcasting live from the capital city of Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to
ACES Radio.
I got the new wings with the zebra flavor sauce.
I've given this no thought whatsoever.
Hashtag probably riding cock.
They're in your face. They're a little different. I think it's super cool. I love them. Jamie, ignorant slut.
Hold on to your butts.
Now, here are your hosts, Morgan Hughes, John Zadar, and Darby Schnarpus.
Oh, yeah, baby. Ignorant sluts, shitlords, and celebrity fans alike. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, it's already too late. You're tuned in to the latest, the lamest, possibly last episode of ACES Radio. It's a Buffalo Bills podcast only. Coming up tonight on the program, the Columbus Crew are officially saved. And we got stuff to talk about because that's like a big deal. We've been trying to do that and stuff. The panel will discuss. Cracking the code tonight, it makes its triumphant return as we try to decipher what Caleb Porter means when he uses the word K a million times. Man balls, they're backdrafts, and they're thrown about as liberally as ever. I welcome you back to the show, old man. I remind you to vote for me for a member of the Best Friends Club. Then on segment 2, the rarest of all rare treats as a celebrity guest, unlike any other, which we do not mean as a compliment, stops by the show. Michael Arache is back, bitches. He's here to talk about things and stuff. How does he feel about Larry Bird being the greatest human who ever lived? He likes it a lot. That's what he feels like. And then on segment 3, we head live on Periscope for your hot takes, aka the battle for the grand prize, and sweet mother of God. No logjam at the top of no standings tonight, fellas, because Jonathan Masseller already won the Sexy Baby or the Business Shark Man. No one remembers. That guy sucks. Prediction scores, prediction updates also not happening. Cruisers versus Off-Season FC. Hang on tour, the actions, the hubba, and so much fucking brought to you as always by Benevolent Corporate Overlord sponsors Blood and Urine. And brought to you as always by me and my voice and my Darby Schnarpus. My name is the continuing champion, Morgan Hughes, a.k.a. Officer Carol Seaver, and I'm joined as always by AAA, the absentee amateur artist himself, Captain Jean-Luc, the wet boy Zadar, and everyone's favorite ancient ruin, Darby, the 40-year-old man-child Schnarfus. It's like I've done this a million times and then I forgot how to after 2 weeks. Mapaches, all you bitches that are here, Joe Rogers, she'll do anyone and anything. How the hell have you been, Darby?
You're really in mid-season form right now. Well,
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like you literally forgot how to talk. Not even just like your memorized routine, but words are no longer.
109 times I've done this.
Yeah.
Wow.
My favorite part of that intro is when you called Scott's wife a slut who would sleep with anyone and anything, and Scott, without even looking up, just did a thumbs up.
I mean, that's what he does whenever she's doing her thing.
Yeah.
Great job, honey.
Yep.
It sounds like you're really getting it.
You haven't found a Pound Town? All right. Go. I had a dream last night that Pam cheated on me, and I've been mad at her all day about it.
That's rational, and you should be.
Yeah, I woke up and I was like, get up, get out of here. Because she not only she cheated on me, she talked on the phone to the guy she banged while I was sitting next to her, and I felt like betrayed as hell.
What was she saying to Doran?
That's very funny, John. People laugh about that in a minute. No, I'm just going to clap. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 109 of ACES Radio. Hello, Drabs. Hello, Sean Sitar, the wetness, the wet boy. We have 4 pieces of housekeeping before we get into the meat and potatoes of ACES Radio.
He has no idea what he's doing. Like,
Yeah.
He's forgotten how to podcast.
Here's the thing. There's 4 pieces of housekeeping, and I wrote these last week, so I don't know if they're timely.
These are the same ones on the screen that we're looking at?
No.
Right. You're looking at something else?
No.
Yeah,
No.
you can't have housekeeping.
What's housekeeping? I don't remember.
Yeah, no one cares.
There's nothing to clean up from last week. Housekeeping is just topics, right?
Darby
now.
sounds like he's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Does
know
he
what's
sound that way to you guys?
You need to speak in the microphone, Biage.
I'm
There you
literally-
go.
yeah,
There you go.
it is. Oh,
First piece of housekeeping, we know we said episode 108 was the last show of season 3. Eat shit, Columbus. That's it. Second piece, new episode of the Ralph Shudell show is out. Thank God. It's been too long.
How long has it been? Do you know?
May was the last one.
So it was like, what is that, 7-8 months?
Yeah.
He's taken on 37 jobs since his last podcast.
You know why?
Isn't that cool? Because I'm always working hard to get you special deals.
He's always working hard to get me special
Take a
deals.
breath.
If
Take a breath.
If there's a sport in Columbus, he has 3 jobs for that team.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no matter what it is.
So, yeah, go check that out. Let us know if we need to create new drops. Third piece, congratulations to the subreddit known as The Massive for hitting 5,000 subscribers. That, as they say in the industry, is great. And finally, number 4, follow Pete Edwards on Twitter at Dr. Pete Edwards 1. And it's been a couple weeks now since I wrote that, and everyone has. So.
Has anybody looked to see what Dr. Pete Edwards without the number 1? Like, is there somebody who's like, oh, I'm going to get the parody Pete Edwards account before he...
Well, it's like Podfather 2. Like, what happened to Podfather and Podfather 1?
He got knocked off.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on.
He was killed.
Would you not do that yet?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Welcome to the program. Second time, long time. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the host of the Soccer Speak Easy, the Columbus Dispatch, legend from Hartford, Connecticut. He grew up eating Connecticut pizza because it's a thing that exists, and it's definitely unique, and it matters, and it's a thing.
No, it's just the best.
What the hell is it?
A-Race.
You know, if you Google best pizza, just those 2 words.
That won't come up.
You'll get a top 10 with 3 or 4 Connecticut joints on it.
That's right.
What makes it Connecticut pizza?
It's the crust.
But I assume that's
variety
what
of
differentiates
claims.
all pizzas. But
Also, it's the... And this stretches from
Is
Jersey...
it the water? Don't say the fucking water.
No, up through... Well, that's in New
Darby,
York
can you
specifically.
let him tell me about the crust?
No.
I'm going to stop now. Morgan, they keep interrupting me.
That's welcome to
Oh
ACES
my
Radio.
God! I want to hear about the crust.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about the
What
The
is
crust has some chew. It's not thick.
Okay, so it's Papa John's.
No, no, that's... Oh, come on, man. That's like saying... Well, what did you say about FC Cincinnati's crust?
Crust? The crust?
Yeah, the crust.
I don't know. I said a lot of not good things about it, Mike.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be more specific.
Now you're comparing, Connecticut pizza to... That's just not right.
All right. Is there a place here in town I can get it?
Closest used to be Anthony's, Pleasant Ridge, right off of East Main in Bexley.
Are they closed?
No, they changed ownership, and they had an East Haven crust recipe. But what really makes it good, especially in that stretch, is that there's that type of crust. But the purveyors there have been purveying very good.
That's a good
purveyance. No, the demand's always been there, especially among the Italian immigrant community.
You're not enjoying this, Morgan? I like hearing about the pizza.
The purveyors purveying?
Morgan doesn't like food, so this is completely
Morgan, the
uninteresting
pizza's
to
the
him.
only food Morgan eats.
He does
Other
like
than
pizza.
cookies.
Yeah. It's true. Well,
Yeah,
what
but
about
he's
a
not-
cookie pizza?
They have those.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Are they from Connecticut? What makes the cookies the best?
I'm not going to.
I'm gonna look up a Connecticut pizza recipe and I'll make it.
Just
How
have
about
Zides
that?
rip it.
I know. All I know
Just say
is
something. He can rip it.
Brent's excited, but he's not getting any. So
all I know is you and Greg Berhalter have like a battle or a conversation going.
No, he sounded just like you guys. What makes it so special? Now he's come around.
Well, I'm not saying it like I don't believe that there's something special about it. I just don't. I've never heard of it before.
Greg's only getting Chicago-style pizza.
Brent, why does this go from 11
he pledged,
to 9
He
to
pledged
7?
to me he was not going to eat deep dish pizza.
There's nothing wrong with deep dish pizza.
It's lasagna. Bad lasagna is all it is.
You're talking about
It's awful.
Chicago pizza?
Yeah. It's fine. All pizza is fine pizza.
Yeah, except Granddad's. You don't want
Did
that.
you make deep dish there?
Granddad's
Didn't have East Haven crust.
Granddad's pizza is great pizza when you're 10 beers in.
Well, yeah, but no, it still sounds
Have
like
you guys
it
ever
smells-
had
tastes
Ohio
like poop.
State pizza right there on Indianola
I will.
and Hudson? You just don't. It's the worst pizza in the entire
that
city.
like where you can get an extra large pizza
For
for $2.
$3.
Oh, you're talking about Buckeye Pizza.
No,
Isn't that
it's
what
called Ohio State Pizza.
Ohio State Pizza.
But I've ordered food from there one time. It was like 3 a.m. I was like drunk when I was in college, and it was like the only place open. And it literally wasn't even cooked pizza.
Nice. Welcome to Columbus Pizza Talk, everybody.
Moving the fuck on. We have a lot to talk about tonight, lads. Usually we're not doing podcasts right now, but it seems there is no off-season for Columbus Cruisers FC. We have new ownership. Today is Thursday, January 10th. Yesterday was the unveiling event of the new humans who are our overlords and our owners. So that was great.
Unveiling because we had no idea prior to this moment.
Yeah,
who
there's
they
a
were
drum
gonna be.
roll and then a fart sound, and it's like blood points were given away. It was great. So new ownership takes over officially as of yesterday. It was 450 days to the day between October 16th, 2017 and January 9th, 2019. 450 days. It's just, it seems like...
So you started before the announcement on the 17th?
What?
The news broke on the 16th.
What are you talking about? Oh,
The
yeah,
official- the
that's
official-
what I mean, the 16th.
Yeah, the official day was the 16th.
The teleconference
What
was
person
the
would say it was
17th.
We've covered this many times. He chooses to
No, the 16th.
commit to the wrong answer.
No, 16th. That was
It's
the night.
Tuesday, October
He had it as the
17th in the
16th,
morning
and Drabs
when
tricked him.
Anthony Precourt had his teleconference to announce that he was going to explore
Well, okay,
Morgan, are you sure it wasn't
whatever
the
the
17th?
the 16th was the night that Grant
news
Wall
broke.
tweeted.
That's
That's
correct.
what I count.
No, that was
that
Yeah,
is.
but you've been saying the 17th for like most of the last year.
I say a lot of things, John. I say a lot of
Are we
things.
sure it wasn't the 15th?
You guys are telling me about pizza.
I
My
100%
God.
know it's the 16th, and I can't wait to recap it.
Moving the fuck on. 450 days to the day, lads.
Is that from the 16th, though?
Yes, 16th. So the Haslams and the Edwards take over. Mike, I want to go to you first because you have had some interaction with these people, specifically Dee Haslam, and I think that you and I have talked about this off the airways, as we say in the industry, about Dee Haslam, and she's a billionaire by herself.
That's correct.
With a B. Your impressions
Oh, yeah,
of
I just looked up their net worth today.
stupid, right?
It was 1.3 for D by herself.
Yeah,
I think.
1.3 or 1.4.
And Jimmy was like 3.7 or something like that.
I think it's more like 2.8.
Okay,
But anyway,
it wasn't that much high.
What's
it was
another
like,
billion
right,
between
at
friends?
that point.
Mike, tell us about Dee Haslam. What do you know about her? What are we getting with this new owner?
Well, the word has always been in Cleveland that she was the brains of the outfit, and it seems pretty clear that she's going to be the Haslam that's going to have her hands on the Columbus franchise.
Yeah.
She's extraordinarily smart and charming.
Joe was just jerking off all the dicks.
Oh my god! Yeah.
No, she's great. I really like her.
She seems lovely.
Yeah.
Joe's already exchanged
And I think-
phone numbers with Dee Haslam.
I think
I'm aware.
this isn't going to devolve again, is it?
It always does.
Oh, that's
Oh my god! This is like me watching.
By acknowledging the de-evolution, you just make it worse.
Yeah, this is like me watching Sean Kelly's rough cut of the third documentary.
I think what impressed me, what the impression she made on me, the most vivid one was that it was you guys in the Save the Crew that caught their attention in the first place, or so she told it, and that the community stuff she's talking about in relation to that, about how the uprising here, that was the stuff that was the true appeal to her. Now, there's also an investment that's going to pay 300% for one of their generations at some point.
Yep.
And that shouldn't be overlooked. But I think they're pure in their sentiment when they start talking about the community and what they want to do here.
Yeah. Darby Schnarfus, you're an old man.
Yeah.
You're older than anyone I know.
I remember
Anyone I know of.
when Circle J was just J.
It was nothing like that, penis bread.
You remember when
Fantastic.
it wasn't? It was like line. It was like a hieroglyph.
It was like the dot at the top of the J. and that was it.
Semi-spherical J. Darby, your thoughts on the new ownership from like a 20,000-foot view? What are we getting? How much different is it going to be from what we're used to in the last 23 years?
Well, I think obviously ownership that's invested in the ongoing things. I mean, we had a great start with the Hunt family, but they weren't here all the time, and there might have been some sort of weird ownership situation between the Hunts and here. I can't really remember, but I feel like there wasn't a lot of attendance going on, and we've heard that D. Haslam was shocked by the lack of commitment to being there and being involved and being a part of the team. And everything we've heard is what we've been waiting to hear for so long.
It's going to be weird, isn't it?
When somebody's like, yes, we want to be at the games and we want to be involved and we want to be connected to the community and we are stewards of this team, but it's the city's team. I mean, that's what every soccer fan wants to hear.
I just think it's going to be weird to see somebody in an owner's suite. Like, do they have to run the electric back to
I
that
thought
thing or what?
I thought that was funny.
Well, the commissioner showed up. I mean, that's a start.
Yeah.
I asked him in a one-on-one yesterday.
He isn't very happy the entire time, though. I don't think he
I
smiled
said
or clapped at all.
In the middle of a one-on-one. It wasn't one-on-one. I was in a room with D.
Were you getting
Haslam,
coffee with him?
Dr. Pete. No, this is later.
Taylor Twillman didn't drop any coffee?
No, he wasn't there. So your man, Morgan's favorite dude, Dan Quartermanch, was in there with
I saw that
D.
quad
Haslam,
yesterday.
Whitney Haslam,
setting records straight,
and Don
I
Garber
got something straight he can set.
sitting this far away.
I mean, what?
And in the middle of, and Dr. Pete was in the room as well, and that was it. Small table.
It was just you, D, Pete, and Garber, and Dan was in the corner.
Yeah.
Goleming.
Whitney was in there too.
Yes.
And I asked Don in the middle of this conversation as he started to get warmed up when the last time he was in town, Don. And there was a pregnant pause. He couldn't remember.
I couldn't remember, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he sent Abbott for all of this stuff up until this moment.
Right, and that was because that's who they wanted here. But the point I was making was he's never – well, what I was asking
Probably
about –
would have been MLS Cup.
What I was curious about – I said 2015 when he couldn't come up with anything. Then he turned to his PR guy and just said, no, it was probably USA, Mexico, the last one. So that would have been 16.
Yeah.
Still.
So not only was basically you people were ignored by ownership, beginning with Clark at some point, and going right on through Anthony. And, of course, the number on him was 6 appearances in the stadium over the course of his 5 years.
That name doesn't
Well, it's
ring
crazy.
a bell.
So all I'm saying is the
he
league
had reasons to come here, too. We were an exciting playoff team both years. So,
and we were excited to have him at first.
No, who are you talking about?
Precourt.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Garber.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Well, yeah, but yes, him too. I mean, he should be here all the time, but Garber isn't going to be here all the time. But there were reasons for Garber to be here more recently than Dos Acero or the MLS Cup. I mean,
You mean Uno
Two-leg
Ados?
playoff
exciting
series.
playoff series here. Yeah,
John,
against some of the darlings of the league.
yeah.
Zadar, welcome back to the program. Just want to say,
Thanks. It's a real pleasure to be
it's
here.
great to
Morgan.
have you.
I really missed
What
you.
a fucking
most of
treat
all.
you are. I know. You can't hide your lion eyes, John. Talk to us about Pete Edwards. You've had some interaction with him. You guys talk
What a legend.
on a nightly basis. He calls you and he says,
We FaceTime.
Time to go to bed.
Like girls on our beds.
That's right, boyo.
Yeah.
We talk about
You
boys.
hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
With their feet up behind us.
My phone's on its dad. Hang up.
I think he's just a real genuine. He's. I think it's not very often that you find someone with money like that that's still a real person, but he feels like a real person still to me, and I think that's nice and that's really refreshing. And I don't remember if it was him or if it was Dee that said yesterday, you're probably gonna get sick of seeing us, and I was like, not after the last fucking 5 years, we won't. I can't see you enough, like. Yeah. So,
once you're a part of our family, we like to see you.
You don't even have to lie about buying a house. You already have one here.
Well, that's what's
your family lives in it.
That's what I think it's. I assume, and the Haslams, I believe, have mentioned that they're going to get a place here, which is awesome and makes Anthony Precourt look even shittier because they live an hour and 45 minutes away. So
I'd imagine it'd be one of the new places around the
they
stadium.
could literally drive
They could
here,
just- yeah.
do what they need to do, and drive home if they really wanted to. But
Dude, if I'm the Haslams, I get one of the sweet new condos they're building around the
right
stadium.
by the stadium, probably. Yeah, I mean, probably. They'll probably buy more than one property if I had to imagine, because JW and his wife are not going to want to live with the in-laws,
Right, you
the
don't have to
parents.
stay in
I'm
the
not
guest
staying
bedroom.
with Dad
Right.
again.
They're gonna have. There's gonna be like at least 2 Haslam properties here.
He makes his coffee like a weak bitch. We need our own coffee maker. This is bullshit. We're millionaires.
Very specific.
They could open a hotel if they
They
wanted
could.
to, but and they might. You never know.
Well, there you go.
Is that what they do?
But I think it's exciting. I like Pete. He seems like a great guy. I hope to get to know him even more and even better.
I mean, Pete's a day one employee of the team.
And you talk to
Right,
Eddie.
they just shifted his name up the list on the staff webpage.
It may have been you that tweeted about it or whatever. That like really all you need to know about Pete is look at all the former players and things that they're saying about him. I mean, your Tom Prestis, your Dante Washington's, your Brian McBride's. Like,
yeah, Cirque's been doing a series on that.
Maybe it was him. Yes,
but
somebody said something.
You know,
about
the
it,
thing at the T-Bone thing at the German brew thing over here down the street that party he had. Dr. Pete was there, and that was a couple months ago, something like that. And Brian McBride showed up because he was in town with the alumni. Was he in town?
Yeah, it was for the Legends.
Yeah, that was the Legends.
It was the day before the Legends.
Right. And at that thing, I was talking to McBride,
Him and Clark were
and he
there.
was going on and on and on. When McBride got hurt in England, he called Pete.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
And there was
and
one
said,
of,
walk me through this. How do I operate on myself?
No, and then he actually came back.
Okay,
to
do a
have-
nerve
to
block
have-
at your waist.
to have surgery with him. And the way he talks about
when
how
when you're fucking good at what you do, people come back to you.
well, there's that too, but it's rare. It's rare in sports, and I've seen there's a lot of doctors that professional athletes don't. Team doctors they don't like. That's why there's second opinions flying around all over the place. And the reason is because these doctors work for teams.
Yeah.
And the teams have a different agenda with their players' joints and general overall health than the players do. Players are trying to remain upright, alive, and that's not necessarily what the people. So the people who sign the paychecks for these team doctors, it's not the players, and there are myriad examples of times when team doctors don't have the players' best interests at heart. That is not the case with Pete. He's got a 23-year record. All these guys speak glowingly of him.
Yeah.
And check out Cirque. Cirque's been doing a series on talking to old players, and they all just they can't believe what a great guy he is, as well as the way how well he took care of them.
Go to cirquebook.com. Also support him on Patreon.
Like I said, getting to know him and meeting him, I think there's nothing to not like about the guy. But really, all I needed to know was when Cirque posted that thing saying that he was at the rally.
Yeah,
and that's all I needed to know.
God, yeah, that
all I needed to know was
where
that he
you
was
got to the end of that long
Yeah.
piece, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's the shot, and look under Jenny Brittenbauer's arm, and that's Dr. Pete looking at this crowd.
Yeah, he's right there. And you want to know another fun thing? I don't think me and Tobias even told leadership we meant to, but we looked this up the other day because we obviously were handing over the pledge data, and we can see obviously in there when anybody signed up, like the day or whatever. The day that I don't know if this is just a coincidence or if this has some meaning behind it, but the day that Pete signed the pledge was the same day we put out our letter to future owners, which I thought was pretty neat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah.
What does it mean?
What does it mean, Morgan?
I don't know. Tune in
Maybe
to Cracking the Code to find out.
Morgan tuned out halfway through that story. He has no idea what happened.
Yeah. I haven't talked enough. I'm not engaged. Yeah, no, Pete's he's just a real human. Like he's a real. It's crazy. It's a fairy tale. Like a day one employee who is a real human who's the best of what he. I've said it 100 times. He's the antithesis of Anthony Precourt. Anthony Precourt uses words like hashtags because he doesn't know what the fuck they mean, and Pete is just those things. Like you can say I'm ambitious, or you can be ambitious. You can say I'm authentic, or you can be authentic. Like that's.
Pete's already had more fan
say,
engagement both in person and on social media than Anthony Precourt
You could
had.
say I'm going to buy a house, or you could just already fucking own one. You know, what a stupid man, Anthony Precourt. Moving the fuck on. We got to talk about Tim Bezbachenko. And before we do, I want to say officially, what the fuck with these crew names? Jesus Christ, can we get a general manager that has it like? You know, I'm not
Like a
asking for Jim
Gene
Smith
Smith?
back. Yeah, but like, even though I know Jim Smith is kind of back, Bezbachenko, Locknane, can we just get one that's like, oh, that's an easy phonetic thing to do?
Bezbachenko's not that hard.
Yeah, but it's stupid and long.
But it sounds exactly as it's spelled, unlike Locknane.
I said that to Tim Bezbachenko's dad yesterday. I was like, your name is stupid and long.
And he said,
Yeah, it almost didn't
He's
fit
like,
on the
he laughed.
jersey.
Yeah.
Like when they held up the 96 jerseys, I was like, oh, did they have to get
It's
an
one of
extra
those where
large
it, like,
size?
does it-
Yeah, they,
yeah.
curve the letters around
Yeah,
the numbers.
and on the subject of stupid crew names, Caleb Porter, an anagram for Caleb Porter is rectal probe.
Why do you know that?
Because
you're unemployed.
Yeah.
Did you figure that up, or did you see that?
No,
somewhere?
I did it today. I do anagrams for everyone new that comes to the crew just to see what the
But I mean, he puts
yeah.
them into a website. that
Right.
doesn't-
Oh,
See
you
what-
don't sit there and do it.
No.
Oh.
Come on, John.
He's
You've got
sitting
a lot.
there-
You've
he's
got a
sitting there
lot of
with
time.
whiteboard
You've
in
got
his
a lot of time.
bedroom. Like,
What's Bezbachenko's best one?
Oh, there was a lot of them. Like nothing good.
The good thing about Bezbachenko though is it's easy. Like,
call him
we just
Bez.
call him Bez.
Yeah, that's what he goes by.
Yeah,
exactly.
Especially because there's like 500 Tims in the world. Mike, I want to ask you. We'll start with you on Bezbachenko. He's a young guy. Everyone knows he's from Columbus. He grew up in Westerville. Went to DeSales. Graduated class of 2000. That means he's my age. In fact, I'm a month older than him, which is weird. How good is this guy? What are we getting here?
His reputation was such that when his name floated here in Columbus, some 6 weeks ago for the first time, 5 weeks ago, that
You were the one who broke that.
there was shock and dismay in Toronto because he's regarded as brilliant at what he does, and why would he ever leave? Because he has a perfect situation.
Why would he go to a cow town when he has it good in the big city?
I think Michael Bradley probably said something like that.
Yeah. You hate to see it.
You do.
Yeah. You hate to see that kind of talk.
Michael Bradley.
You hate to hear it.
No, he has a sterling reputation, and his bona fides in Toronto speak for themselves. I mean, that 2017 team he built, and may have been the best in league history. And to me, one of the important things about Bezbachenko coming here is he left a blank checkbook for player personnel in Toronto to come home to Columbus. To me, it has to be an indication that new ownership is committed to finally investing in the on-field product, because it's been a line I've recreated every playoff season. Particularly when that 2017 Toronto team came through here, was at that point the Crew's payroll was $6 million, and that was Michael Bradley's payroll.
Yeah,
that was his contract. And they had Altidore at 6 and Giovinco at 7.
Yeah, 3 people made more than our entire roster.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Each of them.
That's crazy.
A piece. Yes.
Darby, I think what Mike is alluding to is you don't bring a guy like Bez in and a coach like Caleb Porter in to not spend money.
Unless you promised him. Yeah. He made some promises.
This is not a guy who has to make chicken salad out of chicken feathers.
Yeah.
Like, this is the guy that you go to when you want to make the power moves, when you're willing to do what it takes to build a contender.
Are you going to recognize, like, not the ambition necessarily, but are you going to, like, as a Crew fan that's used to sitting in the upper deck on like a cold bench watching a bunch of like lucky we found that guy, like,
right, the diamonds in the rough. We might just find diamonds
when we're good
at the diamond store.
Almost not by design, like, ooh, they accidentally got good. Like, are you going to be able to recognize that kind of era of Crew soccer is going to piss you off a little bit because you're an old man and cranky?
No, you know what, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate that for years we've had the sort of team that, you go to the grocery store and you see the guys there and, like, you say hi and they're willing to say hi. And I don't think we're going to suddenly have a team of rich-ass prima donnas, because that's still not how MLS works. You can have a couple of big names, but you still have to build your roster on that mid-payroll talent. And the difference is just finding those great values. And I think this is the kind of guy that, you can get all of those those big names, but it takes a lot more than that. And I think this team is still going to have the kind of identity that Columbus knows and respects.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb Porter talked about honoring the past and looking towards the future. John, you're a lot younger than Darby.
Much.
Decades.
Yeah.
No one has said, take John's driver's license away from him, like they say about Darby. The roads are dangerous with the old people out there.
You don't need a license to drive.
That's true. You don't. You just go to prison when they catch you.
Kelsey Grammer.
Your thoughts on Bezbatchenko? What are we getting ourselves into? I mean, I honestly struggle to think about the Columbus Crew as being like a high-spending...
I mean, I think that's
it does.
It's weird. To say. I think that there's I have a couple thoughts on Bez and the things that Mike and Darby said. I'm excited to have him here. I would think that everyone should be just a little bit interested in to see how he does, because to be quite honest, like as much success as Toronto had, there were a lot of years that he was there that they were not very good. He was there in the Jermaine Defoe year.
Right.
He was there last year.
Yeah.
So when they were very awful.
Yeah, last year even had the same personnel, basically.
Yeah. So there was 2 years that I would describe as good. And that's really it under his 6 years at Toronto. I mean, his first year they were 17th. Second year they were 13th. They finished 13th. Third year they finally made the playoffs. They were 12th overall, but they didn't make it past the knockout round. Then obviously 2016 they were 5th and they were runners up to Seattle. And then 2017 was the year that they were the best team in league history until last year, and they won it. And then last year, of course, they were awful and didn't even qualify for the playoffs. So it's a very mixed.
But there was progression there. You saw each year that number get better, and that also ties into what Caleb Porter
there
said,
absolutely was progression,
not
and then there
status
was
quo.
the very concerning last year where they basically just shat themselves and stroked out.
They were not good. Yeah.
I don't think that he's by all means like this infallible golden child, but he's certainly an upgrade.
How about this?
I'm excited. I'm excited for new blood. Period. But I'm excited that the new blood is his. And I think that
he'll have money to spend.
Yes, he'll have money to spend, and I'm not worried about like us becoming this, like you said, like having guys that you can't say hey to, because the talking point yesterday from literally every single person that got up there was like, this is going to be a tight knit family style environment. I mean, literally from Pete to D to Tim. Maybe Caleb didn't really say that, but those three did. And I think that they'll keep that kind of in mind when they're out there looking at these guys that they're going to bring in and say, hey, we have a culture here. We want it to be, a close-knit thing. We don't want these Zlatan Ibrahimoviches here. Mm-hmm. I don't want. I love Zlatan, but I don't really want a guy like that on my team.
You don't mess with Zlatan.
So at least not in.
Don't do it.
Not right now at the point we're currently at. So.
Doesn't have to be LA here. You don't want it to be
right.
LA.
You don't want it. Yeah.
John, I agree with a lot of what you said. One thing that I've been wrestling with is Porter's contract was signed just prior to, within the last week. And that's one of the reasons they pushed all this stuff off. And what I don't know, and I wonder, is who hired Caleb Porter. Because if you have a president who has obviously GM powers, generally speaking, it's very rare to see a GM come in after owners have hired a coach. I mean, that's a GM. That's a president's hire.
Right. It's a tier thing.
To put it,
the president / GM would be above the coach.
Right. To use an analogy that sort of fits or can illustrate the situation. I remember when Ken Hitchcock got hired here to be coach of the Blue Jackets, and that was when John H. McConnell was still alive, the old man, the Lamar Hunt of the Jackets, if you will, who's replaced. That's another story. But Mr. McConnell was very clear that night. I talked to him on the phone after a secret meeting at Double Eagle. Dun, dun, dun. Go ahead, Morgan, you want to have one of those? And I asked him directly who hired Ken Hitchcock, who is a very prominent coach. And he said, did Doug McClain hire him? And he said, no, Doug McClain did not hire the new coach. And you knew from right there that that was the end of the Doug McClain era. We kind of flipped that around here, and obviously Porter's been talking to ownership here, Jim Smith working the strings of it at Dr. Pete's behest since the beginning of December. We've heard about Porter, and Bezbatchenko's been sort of linked since that same period of time. It hasn't gotten serious till recently. And again, his contract was fairly recently signed within the last week. I wonder how that went down. That's all. I'm just throwing it out there. But I agree with you about let's wait and see on Bezbatchenko. Let's not ordain him as a genius just quite yet, although his reputation is very good. Right on down to the only thing I'll add is right on down to his retooling of their development system in Toronto.
Boom. That's what I wanted to cover real quick. We got to move on to cracking the code, but first, Darby, I'll put it to you. Bezbatchenko, as Mike alluded to, was very, very important in establishing TFC2, which was their development USL side, creating that linkage between the U9s and the Development Academy and a second team and a first team. Do you expect there to be a USL team in the future for Columbus Cruisers FC?
Hey, that seems like this sort of beautiful thing that if you had a community sports park with a really large stadium, it could be a good place to put that. I think that's really been a key missing piece is the USL side for the Crew. I mean, how many? What did we have? Like 4 affiliates in 5 years or
Austin
something?
Aztecs,
right? And then there was Pittsburgh, and then didn't we even have a relationship with
Orange
Dayton?
County FC?
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I don't think we have a relationship with them. We sent players.
Well, we sent people to what are they called? The Kansas City.
I was literally just thinking about this on my drive to work this morning. I was like, well, is there a relationship with Orange County other than just sending Alex there?
Well, no, last season was just we send players wherever the fuck they can play.
Yeah, right.
I do remember that. They were like, you know what, screw the affiliation. If a team needs a player and we have that person in that position, we'll loan him out.
Interesting.
But this
not ideal, but works better than nothing.
Having that system, and I think Greg was trying really hard to develop the pipeline.
Yeah, Greg had to loan people out to teams that played with his kind of system.
Yeah, Greg was doing the best he could with what he was given.
For resources.
And that goes down to he was trying to. He knew he didn't have a USL team to send these guys to, so he was trying to instill that early with the academy stuff that he was doing.
Yeah. It was like let's hope to get them early and while they're still kids, get them in our system, and then they float around for a while, and hopefully we can get them back. I think would be the best approach they could.
It would be an incredible declaration that we are not the same Columbus Crew as we used to be to have a USL team. That would be some ambition that we're not used to in Columbus.
I can't imagine that, regardless of who. So are you fairly confident, Mike, that Tim signed his contract after Caleb?
I can't say that for sure.
Right, but is that what you believe?
What I can say, no, I don't know. What I can say is that the program yesterday was tentatively scheduled for the 9th for a couple 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and that Bezbatchenko's contract wasn't signed. Might have been Monday, the day before. It was right in. It was a very compressed time. It was a very short period of time from when he signed the contract to when they had the Crew was officially saved. Thank you, Don Garber.
Okay,
interesting. I mean,
so I don't know.
Regardless of the order, though, I would imagine they both knew. I would imagine like, hey, Caleb, we're looking at Tim. Hey, Tim, we're looking at Caleb.
That's why I brought up that. I mean, Bezbatchenko, you can go back to first notice in print would be sometime around December 13th, 14th, and Porter's name preceded that as being linked to Columbus. So,
well, let's not talk about Caleb Porter just yet because we have a Cracking the Code clip to discuss. And John, what if I told you there's a cure for the scourge that is talking about the thing that we will talk about before we have to talk about it?
You lost me.
I would say you're right.
Start over. Can you please begin?
Can you run that past me one more time?
Go ahead and repeat what you just said.
Did you just order beers?
Because I'm always working hard to get you special deals.
Thanks,
That's
Ralph.
not how this works.
In 3,
that didn't clear it up for me.
2, 1.
And now,
let's call Ralph.
That's right.
An ACES radio exclusive.
What does it all mean, Grandpa?
Cracking the Code.
He's at the West
They
Hill
say
South
it.
Girls practice right now.
is for the city.
Posting Twitter things.
We explain it.
Who we are is for the city.
You reap the benefits.
What? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yeah!
And it's all for Columbus.
For Columbus, indeed. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls alike, to another edition of Cracking the Code, which was going to be called Greg's-planations. And it's a good thing it wasn't, because Greg now works for another team, and he's not here anymore. That would have been a big waste of money, and everyone would have hated that. This week's Cracking the Code clip comes to us from none other than Caleb Porter, new coach of your Columbus Cruisers FC, who stepped up to the podium yesterday, Mike, at the event known as the Ivory Room Lad Party.
That's what the event was named.
Yeah, Lad Party at the Ivory Room, brought to you by ZZ Boots, Wildman's Leather and Lace. And he had the following to say in 3, 2, 1.
First of all, okay, I would like to thank you for having me here today. Okay, it's an honor, okay, to be here and to be coaching the Columbus Crew. Okay, we have a lot of things, okay, that we want to accomplish here. We want to win, and I want there to be a goddamn parade, okay, a real nice parade right down the middle of the street, okay, and it's gonna happen when we win the cup. I'm sorry, are one of you fuck boys looking at me sideways in the front row there? Okay, I don't like that, okay, and it makes Caleb angry, and you don't want me getting angry. I'll rip your goddamn lungs out through your goddamn nostrils, okay? If anyone in this room, okay, ever makes eye contact with me again, okay, it'll be the last and biggest mistake of your life, okay? I'm Caleb Porter, and I'm like the most angry human who ever lived. Hashtag YOLO swag 24/7 blaze. Let me smash, okay?
He's so angry. And he talks to me like he's talking to his player. Now I feel like he's gazing into my soul, and he's like, "Listen up, okay?"
Well, you had him talking to your crotch, so
Yeah.
I'd be pissed too.
There was no mention of Morgan's crotch or pocket recorders leading up to that. I think Morgan was so thrown off by Caleb Porter's intensity that he forgot his whole shtick there.
Oh, Taylor Twellman said,
He's an interesting guy.
"Yeah." Taylor Twellman said, "Every everyone
I
feels fetch.
First
Take
and
a
last
picture."
time you see him smile, yeah.
And this guy's a complete fucking lunatic psycho. Drabs, you were there. Your thoughts on Caleb Porter as a coach? Let's just generally talk about him. How big of a deal is it to put him with Tim Bezbachenko? I kind of feel like we have the MLS Dream Team. Back to you.
Well, so here's the thing. That press conference is the one and only time you will ever see Caleb Porter be calm. We know this. Like, that was like somebody dialed his emotions back to 1, where they're normally at 11. I know where you're going with this.
He's a fucking psycho.
Personally, like, I'm okay with the Caleb Porter pick. He's not my favorite pick. I have some concerns with his coaching
Who'd you
style.
pick instead, though, Darby? Do you have a pick?
No,
That's
I
the
don't
thing.
know. I don't.
I'm
know
not
that
like
I
trying
do.
to call you out, but I see other people saying like, "I don't love it," and I'm like, "Okay, well, who would you pick instead?"
I mean,
Tom Morris.
I would have gone with Wolf. I think he deserved a shot. I think I understand reasons not to pick him.
But are you ready for not anything to change?
We don't know that not anything would change. Just because somebody grows up coaching wise in a system doesn't mean they are going to be the same.
I think
coach.
that all you need to know that nothing was going to change is the fact that now he's going to the U.S. team.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't know that he necessarily had better options. He couldn't stick around, right? Like, you can't be an assistant coach in the new regime because if you're going to clean house, you're going to clean house.
Not necessarily wanted, yeah.
Yeah. And if nobody else was going to offer him a head coaching gig, then yeah, you stick with Berhalter. But that being said, while he's not, my favorite pick, I'm excited that there's somebody with some credentials. Is it a sexy international coach? No. Sometimes you don't swing for the fences. You look to get on base. I think Caleb Porter is a solid base hit here. He's probably a double if we're totally extending this metaphor entirely too far. Like,
he's a single celebratory
happy.
trumpet.
Yeah, you're satisfied to moderately happy with what's going on here, and there's the potential for more. He might have what it takes to take us to the promised land. I do respect the ambition. I love the fact that he talked about coming here and winning hardware because for everything that we've done, there's not any more silverware in our case than there has been.
This is
in quite
currently
some
the
time.
longest drought in Crew history without a cup, without a shield,
without anything.
Yeah, nothing.
And we've come close in a number of ways. And
this will be 10 years.
It gets harder. That's the thing, is the league gets bigger. Each of those trophies is harder to get because there's more competition and there are deeper pockets. And so, a lot of coaches would come in and say, we just want to compete. We're going to be a contender. We're going to do what we can. I do respect the hell out of somebody who says, no, we are going to try and achieve trophies.
Yeah, well, I will say that it's one thing that Greg, the initial difference, John, between Greg and Caleb is specifically with the U.S. Open Cup, he literally referenced it and said, any competition we're in, we're going to win. We're going to try to win.
Yeah.
And that includes U.S. Open Cup. That's refreshing. It isn't that Greg wasn't it's not like Greg was trying to lose. He certainly was focusing on Major League Soccer's regular season and postseason.
Greg was a robot in a different way.
Yeah. Your thoughts on Caleb Porter?
I have very similar thoughts on Caleb Porter that I do about Tim. I think he's achieved some great things, but I also think he's had some pretty not great years. He doesn't have like an incredibly overwhelming trophy cabinet. He's got one MLS Cup and one college championship, and that's literally it. He has 2 trophies.
It's more than I have.
Well, stop sucking at things, Darby.
Fine.
Which is great. It's not bad, right? And I saw a stat the other day that he is, I think it was, out of all of the coaches in MLS, he is one of only 4 that have won the cup. So that's a kind of a cool and interesting statistic to keep in mind.
He knows how to win them here.
But again, like he had his trajectory at Portland was actually not too dissimilar from Tim's at Toronto. When he took over, they weren't actually doing that badly. Then they actually kind of got a little bit worse, and then they were still middle of the road. They were never like great when he was in charge there. They were never top of the league.
Well at the right time.
They won the conference 2 of his 5 years, but even in those years, they were still only 3rd and 6th in the league. So,
and the year they won it, they didn't win the Western Conference.
Yeah, the year they won it, they were 3rd in their conference and 5th overall. The Open Cup, they've never made it far. They've made it to the semifinals the first year he was in charge. And that was the best they ever did. So I don't know. He's certainly better than average. But again, just like Tim, I think it remains to be seen. I'm not ready to stick the crown or the halo or whatever the hell you want to put on his head. I'm not ready to put it up there. So
he was the
penis hat.
He's trying to be the penis hat.
What they call
penis
it.
hat.
Yep. I'm not ready to put the penis hat on him.
Do you want to take it off yet? Because I don't know how I'm going to put it on both your heads at the same time. So
we can
Listen,
share.
I'm not ready to put the penis hat on him.
I don't
all right?
want to stick the penis hat on his head. What the hell are you talking about?
Jesus Christ!
But yeah, I think it's interesting. I appreciated and I really connected with him saying, I want to win these trophies, and to do that, I feel it's necessary to say that out loud and to envision that in my head, because I believe the same way. If you want something, you need to say that you want it, and by saying it and thinking about it, you can help yourself manifest it. Which is something that I don't think Greg really ever did. I don't think Greg was trying any less, but he never explicitly was like, I'm here to win MLS Cup. And to me, the way that my brain works, I think that feels like a necessary step to me to vocalize your goal.
Yeah, I think so. One thing that's a little interesting about this is the Haslams do come from the NFL world in terms of sports. And in the NFL, you only hire coaches within your league. There's no other league that you bring coaches in from if you're an American football team. You have coaches that get developed in this system and coach in the system. And maybe that was a comfort thing for them. Go within the league that you're playing in to find your coach.
He was the big name that was a successful, proven entity that was available, and they got him.
Plus, you could see. You can imagine him sitting in an interview with the new owners, and them, grabbing it. It's like was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor sort of thing, and running out of the room and screaming.
Yeah.
He has that. He had that effect on people yesterday in a very keyed down sense for him. He took a year off, and
Respect.
We don't know exactly what happened in L.A., but it looked like he turned down that job. He also turned down Orlando.
Who would turn down Orlando? Who would hate themselves enough to take that fucking job?
It's a good.
The point is, he obviously wanted to be here. It seems to me pretty clear that he's the one that won the interview, and that they were excited to go forward with him. And probably Bezbatchenko signed off on him.
Yeah,
or was at least in agreement with ownership. Yeah, okay, I'd come here with Caleb Porter as coach.
Yeah, they had to know about each other.
I'm a wait and see too, because the guy has a reputation that's well known in MLS and elsewhere.
He's abrasive.
The world revolves around him.
Yeah.
He soaks up a lot of sunlight.
They signed a long-term deal in Portland, and then he was gone by the end of that year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
he's
abrasive. The word there was the way he told it was that he assembled a team that he saw that had to be broken up after winning a cup, or 2 years after winning a cup, and he said he didn't want to do it. And he said that he wanted to take time off, and that it was a mutual agreement to leave the team with the ownership there. So
there was also rumors of him not getting along with Merritt Paulson, in which case Caleb Porter is my number one guy.
There you go.
My number one guy.
Well, that's
right.
really surprised me.
Yeah.
Those
But
two
anyway,
personalities.
I'm with you, John. That's another wait and see, and I think Darbs is absolutely right as well. That this guy at least has rep. I don't think it's the. I would have liked to seen him keep Josh Wolf for 2 years, build a stadium, and then see where you are.
Yeah.
They kind of had that luxury. Here's a guy who knows the system, knows the players, they respect him. And for one reason or another, and it seems to be that he doesn't interview well, at least not as well as, say, Caleb Porter. But he's been up for a lot of jobs, Josh Wolf, and he hasn't gotten them. I would have liked to see him get his crack here. I think he deserved
you get
it.
crack in Orlando.
There you go.
I'm sorry, it's Chris.
I wouldn't have been opposed to that.
But then you have 2 years. You sign a 2-year contract, and you open a stadium, you see where you are.
I know you want to move on. I just want to say one more quick thing.
Sure.
I think it's really interesting. I don't know if this is ever. I haven't seen or read this anywhere, but I would imagine that I know they didn't really do much of an interviewing process for the U.S. job, but I would imagine that if they had, that Caleb would have been literally the next person in line after Greg, probably. So I think it's kind of a cool thing that our coach left to go there, and the guy who's coming in to replace him was probably his best competition for that job had he been given a shot at it. So.
And cradle of coaches.
Yeah. And also, for anybody who's worried about Caleb Porter signing a 5-year deal and that locks us into a bad choice, realize that 5 years over $5 million over 5 years is what the Browns pay for a backup tight end.
Yeah.
They probably pay twice that for a backup tight end.
They have they have how many coaches they have in their payroll right now that they fired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing,
there's
all of them.
if he doesn't work out, we're not locked into him for 5 years because Haslam will cut bait on him in a heartbeat.
This is a completely new era for Columbus Crew. You can say it in a sentence that Jimmy Haslam paid more in fines to the federal government than Anthony Precourt paid for the team, and that was just last year.
Yeah.
So.
And Pete knows what's up. He'll be guiding their decisions.
Yeah.
They won't be necessarily tripping over their own fucking feet like they are sometimes with the Browns. Mm-hmm. So,
well, let it not be said that you can beat us and we won't hire away your shit. Because Caleb Porter and the Portland Timbers beat us in 2015. He's ours now. And Tim Bezbatchenko and Toronto FC knocked us out of the Eastern Conference Finals in 2017. He's ours now. So the rest of the league be put on notice that if you beat us, we will hire your shit away. Now they know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Say what again?
He's absolutely right.
Say what one more goddamn time.
Oh, yeah, baby. Thanks a lot, guys. That was super fun. Back to you, Ralph.
Isn't that cool? Because I'm always working hard to get you special deals.
Fan-fucking-tastic. That guy's a goddamn treat. Episode 16 of the Ralph Shudell Show is great. And the GCG bags are failing and sad. Stop doing the thumbs down thing. Dad, you get out of my face. You shaved that mustache. You look like a pederast. You're going to get arrested for pederastery.
Oh my God, he's got a whole harem with him. Look at all the ladies who just walked in with him.
Oh, I got to go.
Well, they're children. They follow people that look like adults. Moving on to Man Balls of the Week. I remind you, as always, is a combination of Man of the Match and Game Balls, which, as a phrase is too long as opposed to this explanation, which is perfectly formed. Drolby Scrinface. We go to you first, my friend. Your 2 Man Balls of the Week.
I realize these are entirely too obvious, but my 2 man balls go to Pete Edwards and Dee Haslam. Apart from everything that they have done in this process, which is just too much to enumerate, that was a great press conference. For us standing around for like an hour listening to people talk, I've never been so engaged and smiling just hearing people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say blather, but you get all the same things, like everybody thanking everybody else on the dais and stuff.
Aside from Andy Ginther, everyone was really, really well-spoken and interesting and great.
They said all of those things that
Don
wanted
misspoke
to
a lot,
hear.
but yeah.
Yeah, well,
I edited that out in the beginning.
I noticed, yeah.
But yeah, our ownership group, you hear them talking, you're like, just this fills that hole in my heart that I didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
The doctors knew you had it.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Pete, for finding. Yeah.
So your grandpa has a huge hole in his heart.
Yeah, leaky atrium.
We're not related.
Yeah, no. But, I would have been ecstatic with mediocre, half-assed ownership at this point. Right?
And we were for 5 years.
No, I mean, that wasn't even mediocre, half-assed. That was subpar.
All right.
But to have just those people who get it and who are speaking to us
off of the cuff, not reading,
not prepared, stumbling, halting,
not reading
Michael
Coleman's or like Andy Ginther's hello, my name is Michael Coleman. I am that's not my speech. I'm Anthony Precourt. I'm stupid.
Yeah. We all know that there's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of damage, unfortunately, to be undone in this community.
Yeah.
What they did yesterday, I think, was a huge first step.
In the right direction.
And I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. 2 man balls to Dee Haslam and Pete Edwards. Mike Arache from the Columbus Dispatch. You know him from the Soccer Speakeasy. It's like a bar that's a hidden bar. It's like a secret show about soccer, and it's not don't tell your friends about it. There's a handshake, and it's great. And it's fine.
There's a handshake?
There's an Andrew Erickson Memorial Podcast Room. I was there last week. What a fucking treat. What a goddamn treat. Your 2 man balls of the week, my friend.
I think both my balls, so to speak, go to always to save the crew. And really, because none of this, you don't get to Tuesday yesterday.
Yeah.
You don't go from Tuesday, October 17th to Tuesday, January 9th. You don't get from one to the other with the way this went down without you people. That's all. I'm pandering.
Yeah, you sure are, and it feels great.
Shameless.
I appreciate it. I'm thankful for it. I'm going to roll that
John,
ball around for
actually,
a while and really
if I could
savor
have a third man ball, I'd like to give it to John Zidar for finally saving the crew.
You don't
just get to decide that you
it
get
took
3
him
balls,
it
Driver.
took him a long time. It says,
You wrote we could do 3.
I want my balls. I want to give them both to John.
Oh my God! Thank you so much.
U3.
Darby
so
and
my
Mike.
my U3 man ball goes to John Zidar for saving the crew.
Please don't write this down.
For 15 months, we've asked him if he saved the crew. And
do you want to ask me again?
Yes.
Do you want to ask me one more time?
Can you
turn the music? Can you stop ruining our moment? The 3 of us are having a moment here.
Yeah. John Zidar.
Yeah.
Have you saved the crew?
I'm sorry, who?
John Zidar.
Yeah, okay.
Have you saved the crew?
Darby?
Yeah.
It is my distinct pleasure. What's this?
It's nothing like this, penis breath.
To say that, yes, indeed, I have saved the crew.
Oh, my God. You love to hear it. You love to hear it. Yeah.
Yep. Boo!
Thank you very much.
Oh, my
I
God.
saved the crew by myself. That's
I
right.
used Solana Max's spaceship. I shot Anthony Precourt into the sun.
Thank you, John Zidar, for saving the crew.
Yeah,
my third man ball you now own in perpetuity.
Everyone hates you. Sean Sitar, the wetness, the wet boy, your 2 man balls of the week.
I have 3 man balls ready to go because it says I'm allowed to give 3.
Fucking damn it.
I'm going to give 1, obviously, to Pete.
Pete Shahada.
I think no,
okay.
Pete Edwards. Pete Edwards. Well, Pete's great, but no, not that Pete.
Pistol Pete.
Pete Edwards. I think we're in a weird age where people overuse words like awesome and legend and shit, but I think both of those words accurately describe Pete. I think he's a genuine, full-blooded Columbus legend, and I'm just so thankful for everything that he's done. So he gets the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one goes to Dee. On behalf of all the Haslams, but really specifically to her because I think that I am super excited to be able to say that Columbus has the first female governor on the MLS Board of Governors.
Another Columbus first.
I think that is fucking awesome.
That's right. We are #1 in women. There are
we have the top woman in the game, and every woman could be, hey, I'm from Columbus. Look at me.
Careful.
I'm from Columbus. I'm a girl.
Yep.
I have a girl.
So I think that's great. Another little footnote on Columbus history that's been made. And then my third one's going to go to someone that probably is a little unexpected, but I'm going to give my third man ball to Pat Onstad. It was very short-lived, but he did a great job steering the ship there, and I don't know who was responsible for what or how much of a hand whoever had in whatever, but I'm really excited that he did things like lock down Valenzuela for our team, and I'm not really excited about Bendick, but he got him. And
it was a great catch for a third-string keeper.
Yeah, but Valenzuela is a big get, and I just appreciate him being the one to say, like, I'll steer the ship for however long it needs to be steered. Yeah.
That's pretty
Somebody's got to do
position.
it. He did it, and I haven't heard anything about him leaving. I really hope he doesn't. I would love for him to stay. So he gets my third one.
There was the question was put to I think it was Porter, and he said he didn't dissuade anyone that he wouldn't. He said, "Yeah, I'm for guys that are on our team." And Onsted's is a guy that wants to stay in Columbus, from what I hear.
Okay, that's great, and I think you'd be foolish to try to run him out of town. He's one of the best keepers in league history. So,
and that's a good one. When Berhalter left, it was I'm bad with the dates here, but it was the third when he was announced. It was that Sunday before he was officially announced. That Saturday. And then the news broke that night that he was going to be introduced on upcoming Tuesday. He spent that Saturday at the Cruz College Combine. I mean, he worked.
Who? Greg or
Berhalter did.
Oh.
Literally up until the last minute, and then Onstad took over, and a whole lot of stuff, as you were pointing out, went down in December. And for a while, look, we didn't know if there would be a new coach and GM in Orlando for the Combine, and he did hold the fort. I mean, his yeoman's work, and I think they'll keep him on, and I hope they do.
Yeah, I'd love to keep him. Like I said, he's one of the best goalkeepers in league history.
And
you saw how he's tutored and guided. I mean, Stefan obviously a natural
he
talent.
He single-handedly created John Kempen. What a treasure.
Absolutely, what a treasure.
What
the
a
only player
mouth.
in attendance yesterday.
What a long mouth he has.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Which I thought was odd.
Yeah.
John Kempen looks like a Canadian on South Park.
Yes.
Like the top of his head is about to just flap at any moment.
Terrence.
I'm not your guy, buddy. I'm not your
buddy,
keeper,
guy.
friend. My first man ball goes to none other than Siggy Schmidt, former Columbus Cruisers FC head coach. Rest in peace. We haven't recorded a show since he passed, and what a tremendous loss for the American soccer community. He is, without question, one of the greatest coaches in American soccer history, and certainly in the top 10 as far as influencers in what made this game the game it is today in the country that we live in.
I tweeted about it the other day. I thought, Guillermo's back. Great time to put him in the Circle of Honor. But then I thought, even more appropriate.
Yeah.
Siggy.
Sure.
What do you think? You think Siggy goes up in the Circle this
question.
year?
Well, I think
I hope
we
so.
now have ownership.
Right,
we'll respect the concept of a circle.
We're
of
allowed to
honor,
do that
and-
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My second man ball. Rest in peace, Siggy. You were the man. Thanks for the cup.
Thanks for everything, man.
Thanks
The
for
memories.
everything. Like I said on the Soccer Speakeasy the other day, he came into a team and destroyed it. Kept Frankie and Chad, and that was it. And then within 2 years was hoisting a cup. That guy's. And he didn't just do it in Columbus. He did it at UCLA. He did it at LA. He did it in Seattle. Yep. I mean, he got that Seattle franchise from zero to contending in 0 seconds flat. So shout out to that dude, one of the greatest that ever lived. And my second and final man ball today goes to Greg Berhalter. Mike kind of alluded to it. What a fucking pro that guy is. What a fucking Columbus legend. He was working knowing full well that he was going to take over the national team job, and he didn't have to do it. But the day before he was announced as the next coach of the United States men's national team, he was scouting the combine for the Columbus Crew.
That's right.
The guy is, without question, one of the top lads in the game. And that's why, John, he's getting my second man ball. Your thoughts on that, John?
That's great. You use the word legend loosely, like I alluded to earlier, but good job.
He's a legend. He's a Columbus.
Also, good job not using your third man ball.
Well, I don't, because ew.
You
3.
wrote it there.
It says 3. Ew. Don't
yeah, but
do
it
that.
says ew, but then you can give a third.
No, that's just not what it says, John. It just says
don't
ew,
necessarily
3.
be happy about it, but give one.
No, you're really inserting
You know
a
the
lot
nice
of
thing
thoughts
about
there,
bullet
Justin
points,
said.
if you only
You're not
have
supposed
2,
to
you
insert
don't
the
have to
balls.
put a third one.
Gross. You both disgust me, all right? And you're not invited to Breast Friends Brunch ever
I don't
again.
want to go to Breast Friends Brunch.
I do want to go to Breast Friends
coming.
Brunch, actually.
Not if he's there.
No.
If you've enjoyed.
He's not invited to his own brunch.
The Shit Lordery on segment 1. I've got some bad news for you. You have terrible taste in podcasts. We're coming back on segment 2 with some slurping sounds and the return of Michael Arache.
According to Pam's dreams, he's not
From the
invited to the
Columbus
breasts
Dispatch.
either.
My friends, my amigos, you're making a big mistake by listening to ACES Radio.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now we blasting off into the ozone. The way we kick it in the dojo is local for show. Though we paving the road that's opposed to the dojo. Going over your head like a top hat. Stop that. I know you hear me spitting these hot raps. Now watch that beat, cause it's about to drop. The Rockets is the 09 jump off. Yeah, your last name Pan, first name Peter. I know you see me playing and you want me to teach you, but I say elevated so that all God's creatures can hear me shout it out like my name is Aretha. Getting RESPECT. Fly by, see the looks on your faces. Cause I'm in full EFFECT. Jet setting on a daily basis. David F. Man, don't stop. David, don't stop. We came to rock it till the city takes off. Mr. Captain, yeah. I'm an ace pilot, yeah. I want to spin my wings and fly. To all the people in coach, and to my first class folks, we'll show you how to scrape the sky. As the curvature of the earth takes shape, fly fast forward like a videotape and no cape. Just follow my jet stream, proud in the clouds on the boom in your precinct. I'll hop no trampoline, black box in the pocket of my jet jeans. Shine with the stars so bright, even NYC sees me. Get that?
Yeah, baby. Ignorant sluts, shitlords, celebrity fans, and all you fools listening on your iPhones, welcome back. It is episode 109 of ACES Radio. Shout out to corporate sponsors Blood and Urine, also Spit, Salavia, Foot Golf, Larry Turd, and the dead rotting corpse of Kevin Burns. My name is the continuing champion, Officer Carol Siebert, joined as always by Drolby Scrinface, Sean Tatar, and on segment 2, what are you looking at? What is this? Oh. Apparently Ralph Shudell is on TV. Great. He's at the girls' basketball game, the women's basketball game. Welcome back. It is segment 2, episode 109. We are here with
I think
Mike.
Ralph just goes to those things to tweet a photo of him from TV later.
Yes. His mom's very proud of him, John. We are here with Mike A-Ray, celebrity guest on episode
nobody can
109.
hear you.
You'll remember him from segment 1. He's here on segment 2. And here's what I know about you, Mike, is that you have a podcast that doesn't have breaks. It's one solid shot with a speakeasy. And I know that because you ask interesting questions.
We can do that.
And bring up good points in the break. And we're not recording. Like, you don't think about it as a segment man. You're not a segment man. You're just like a stream of consciousness man.
I'm a jazz man, I guess.
Yeah. You're like, how old is Darbs? I'm like, that's something great we could talk about on the air.
No.
As we broadcast live, John. Speaking of Drabs, he's not back yet.
Here he comes.
Darby,
Here he comes.
We were just talking. How old are you, Darby? 42?
I will be 42 in April.
Oh my god.
Ew. Gross.
I assume it's just like we're just for like brevity's sake we're saying 42, but he really means 4200.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, move the decimal.
There's a couple. Yeah.
People have asked me that. They're like, how old is Darby? I'm like, I think he's like 42 or 41 because like we celebrated his 40th birthday on ACES Radio.
No, we didn't. That was 41.
No,
when
no.
I made that thing.
No, your 40th birthday was on ACES Radio. You were filling in for John.
Sides, how old are you?
Please don't say Zides.
How old do you think I am? I like this game.
Please don't call him Zides.
I would say 28.
Yeah, people usually guess younger than I am. I'm 31. I'll be 32 in March.
So you're Morgan's age, bro.
No.
Thank you.
No.
Blessed.
No. Morgan is closer to me than
How old
he
do you
is
think?
to John.
How old do you think Morgan is?
Don't let his acne oil-ridden face confuse you. He is not.
Oh, I
a
saw an
young fucking
Instagram
dare
ad
you.
for acne-free pillows cases,
Yeah.
and I was going to send it to you. I forgot.
Oh, is it called just fresh pillowcases every
I think
night?
it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the incredible breakthrough in not getting acne is washing your fucking clothes
It's
and
called
your
doing laundry.
yeah, your
Daily?
pillowcases. I have no less than 27 pillowcases. It's a fresh one every night.
So we did the Derby thing, and we did me. Are we going to do you and Mike then? I guess. How old do you
What?
think Morgan is, Mike?
I think Morgan's like 18.
Oh, what a treat this guy is!
Well,
Holy shit!
He is.
Well,
also, I got to ask though. I say that because
how he acts.
No, he's a spokesmodel.
That's right,
Also,
spokesmodel.
like-
And most spokesmodels are in that age range.
Is
You
that
know,
true?
late teens.
So, incidentally, John, what do you think? The glasses.
Kobe
Are they
Pants?
making him look younger or older?
They're making me look at things and being able to read
Being
them.
able to see things.
Yeah.
They're making him look older.
Thank you. Blessed. Well, as an 18-year-old, I need to look older, John.
I mean, it's because he's got that
It might be
tortoiseshell
19.
thing that only hipsters
19?
and
You're willing to
That's-
give him
yeah.
19?
That's
19.
a spokesmodel. That's what it's Save the
Would you
Crew
please stop
spokesmodel.
calling me a goddamn spokesmodel, you dirty bitch?
I didn't think.
I
you'd
remember
make it-
sitting down
make
at
it
our
better.
first Save the Crew meeting, and I was like, okay, Morgan's official title,
No,
spokesmodel.
I don't remember that. No, that never
Spokesmodel.
happened. What else did you say? You just said, who's the rap group that does our theme song? You're
Oh,
like,
yeah,
who
who's
is that?
the-
See, we need to be talking about this on the air, biatch.
People know.
Can't stop, won't stop is what it is.
Yeah.
John, there's people listening to this for the first time. And
Are there?
In fact,
and the last time.
Well,
as it
yeah,
turns
this
out.
episot
Yeah.
for the first time, yes, but the show
the only
probably
thing
not.
sadder.
I think we've
First
got our
time, only
audience
time.
at this point.
The only thing sadder than someone listening for the first time is somebody listening for more than one time. That's the only thing worse. So, Mike A-Race, we welcome you back. Thanks for stopping by. Second time here on ACES Radio. What a treat you are. Remind everyone who didn't listen to episode no one remembers who you are and how crew fans know you.
I'm just a guy that works for the newspaper.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's all.
Which
I've been
newspaper?
here
This
Columbus
week,
Alive.
he's in the this week.
about 20 years now. I've been at the Dispatch.
The Citizen Journal.
I worked for 17 years at the Hartford Courant prior to that, so I'm even older than Darbs,
Which,
and twice to three times
didn't-
spokesmodel age.
beautiful. So let's talk about Save the Crew. You are one of the voices that will go down in history as a voice of our community. Second only to professional journalist and roast beef enthusiast Andrew Erickson. We would not be where we are today without
What are you doing?
the columns of Mike
Too far away.
Arache.
Can you not read it?
Talk about where your head was at day one during this whole thing.
Yeah, it was 98% go. I thought they were gone. I've seen this before. I covered it before, as a matter of fact. And when I heard on the 16th in the afternoon that there was going to be a teleconference, I thought, they're gone. Because then pieces start falling together. Just like at the end of your movement, you can see how the dominoes fell or how the puzzle fit together and you reached this point where you got to yesterday.
At the end of every one of my movements.
Yeah, things.
One domino falls and the rest just kind of
It just
slide
all
out.
just kinda
Yeah,
works together.
it's true. He doesn't know what's going
How
on.
many were
No, I don't. That's what makes me a good columnist.
I was upset.
hope, you know.
I was upset at you and Andrew a lot when I would listen to the Speakeasy, and you guys would be honest, and just a facts man, bunch of Joe Friday bullshit artists, and you'd say, "I don't see a way out of this," but you were being honest. And you'd say like, "Nah, yeah, no, I mean like they're leaving, but man, there's something happening here." But I still think they're gone, and and then finally you would go like, "Andrew, come on, don't you sense the magic?" And he'd be like, "I can't. Come on, Mike. I can't do that. I can't talk about
Well,
that." Come on, Mitt. Come on.
My progression was that night, 16th turning into the 17th, and then the teleconference, the exploratory announcement, the announcement of his exploration, whatever the hell that was. I thought 98% gone, and by August of 2018, so that was October of 2017. By August of 2018, I was at about 75% stay.
What made you change so
The
drastically?
lawsuit was making it difficult for them to get out cleanly. The pre-court faction that was working in Austin, I'd have to sit down and think. If I were writing a column, I'd think, all right, how do I clean this up and make it presentable in a family newspaper? They weren't doing well in Austin. And I know for a fact that ACES Radio has many descriptions for the effort in Austin and how it went down or didn't.
There's nothing like that, penis breath.
So it was the lawsuit, the
No reaction.
That's what makes him
What
a
a
good
pro.
journalist.
What a fucking pro.
It was a lawsuit. It was the ineptitude of Precourt and Dave Greeley. And by that point of August 2018, there were rumblings. It was right around that point when Haslam's name started popping up in the deep background. And it was very clear that Don Garber had a situation on his hands that he neither foresaw or could handle. It was a complete and utter Scirocco of Shinola, if you
I'm
would.
sorry, what?
I got that. I'm right there with you.
Oh, my.
Is that some sort of Italian East Coast thing that I'm not...
It was a shit.
You've never experienced the Shine Rocco
That's
Chirola?
one of
I
Rom
did
Taberi's most
once.
famous dishes.
I took antibiotics and it thankfully went away, John.
Shine Rocco Chirola for everybody.
Well,
No, you don't want that.
as an homage to Mr. Leahy, it was a shitstorm. It was a shit tornado, a shit tsunami, whatever, however you want to put it.
Their ineptitude was one of our biggest strengths.
Exactly. So there was a lot of the league office fought itself in over its head because Precourt and his people, Dave Greeley down there in Austin. I mean, even Richard Suttle by that point was going like, I can't believe I work for this guy. And so there was all that going on, and it was spinning out of control, and there was a big drag on the process because of ORC 9.67.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think anyone, because the law was untested, and there's never been any sort of lawsuit like, there have been a number of eminent domain lawsuits. The city of Oakland actually won an eminent domain lawsuit against the Oakland Raiders in 1982 that was overturned on appeal. And there had been other cities that had used that legal channel to try and prevent teams from moving. But there'd been nothing like this law ever written or actually even, litigated.
Yeah.
So there was that great unknown, and it was, if nothing else, it did its job by putting a drag on the league and running up their legal bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was 75% by August of 2018, and then within a couple of months, you guys were well aware about how the ownership was lining up. And
what? We didn't know much.
By that point, it was clear that Greg Abbott was doing. Is it Greg Abbott?
Mark
Abbott. Excuse me. That Mark Abbott was doing all the negotiating on the league side here in Columbus, which kept Garber out of the picture, which was a bonus. And there was other things like that, and you start to piece it together, and you go like, golly, this might actually, this team might actually keep the team here. And a sort of striding across all of that was the Save the Crew movement, which all of these things were skirmishes on the ground, and you guys were like an Air Force on two fronts, not only bombing the hell out of everything that deserved to be incinerated, but also almost like a Marshall Plan drop onto Berlin to keep the good people in the city from being overrun by the Reds. It's a bad.
Darby, do you remember these original things that he's referencing?
Scott's the only person in this
stuff?
room who nodded knowledgeably.
No, but I'm saying though,
Everybody's
I
like,
mean, you guys really were, and that's why I gave you all three of my balls, or two of them, however many.
I'm still rolling it around and savoring it.
Please tell me, John, we've asked you not to.
Put it
He got
in his mouth
he
a
got
time or two. It's
7
kinda
balls
weird.
now. But no,
Don't
eat it. That was all of it. It was
Experiencing all it has to offer. Okay.
You guys were like I'll use the analogy. What the hell? It sucks. I had to rewrite it if I had to do it. You were like the Air Force. I mean, and you actually controlled the skies, and everything else going on below it. There were some precision bombings, and oh god,
Let's still
it was
emphasize
wonderful.
though that we did not pay for any airplanes in Austin.
Yeah, there's a lot of analogies going around here. But
Well, there is an analogy.
In no way did we
still
pay for that.
state
We did pay for an airplane at one point, but it was the one here.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I mean Alex Fisher acknowledged it. I don't. There's
I
never
don't know
been
what you're saying over
quite
there. I can't hear
anything
you.
like this. And I actually said this to Garber yesterday. He started asking me questions, and I told him that
What gives you
his
the
league
right?
and other pro leagues are going to have to contend with this kind of thing now, because now there's a template. Save the Crew was a watershed moment in sports, and I'm struggling to to put that in proper historical perspective because it's so big. It's difficult to wrap my mind around it. But I've been working on it though.
Yeah.
I've been working on it.
Yeah,
I've been writing, and it keeps going and going. And you know what? Garber didn't want to hear that. And Dee started talking about it has to be community, corporate, private, public partnerships, and all of that's true. But
What did he not want to hear?
Well, here's what I left him with. And again, this is not any big deal. This was just us talking by the end, and the press conference was about to start. But, I said, Morgan, you've heard this spiel from me. I said to them that, I've heard any number of professional team owners say to me that, yeah, they think that this town can be Green Bay and have the Packers. Town X, we can be the Green Bay Packers. Town Y, we can be the Green Bay Packers. And there's only one Green Bay Packers where they took hundreds of thousands of shares of their team, divided it up that way, and then actually sold it to the community. And
but it's not real.
Well, no one can own more than 4% of the Green Bay Packers. It is literally community owned. And there's only one because it's been it has been written into the bylaws of these leagues that they can't do that. Because these are just rich people professional sports teams are very expensive to invest in, but they always pay off because of the way the value of the team appreciates. The Cruz progression was $5 million to $68.5 million to $150 million as of yesterday.
Yeah.
And now let's not even talk about let's talk about the team that moved out of Hartford when I was covering them. The Whalers went from 42 and change in 1994 to selling with enormous amount of debt because he was an idiot too. He shouldn't have moved. But for more than $450 million, and the price of an expansion team in the National Hockey League is now $500 million.
Jesus Christ!
That's what Vegas paid. That's what Seattle may even pay even more, as far as I know. But it's at least $500 million. That's why people who have the money buy these teams. You want their hearts to be in the right place, and I have no reason to doubt that. I know that Dr. Pete's heart's in the right place, and I have no reason to doubt that Dee Haslam's heart is in the right place. Jimmy, I don't know. He hasn't. He's taken a pre-card. He hasn't been here. That was a bad joke. But my point is, no one. You can't even be the Packers. Just like many other community-owned teams, mostly football association teams in England, and other football. Soccer teams on other continents and even Australian rules. You can do a search. You can do a search on community-owned teams, and there's a wiki page on it that goes on forever.
Yeah.
And there's one major professional North American team on it, and that's the Packers. And there won't be any more Packers because they don't want any more Packers. So absent that,
the Packers could never happen today.
You guys, functionally speaking, were just like the people that own the Packers. Everyone talks about all the time about how these are community trusts. Dee Haslam speaks very eloquently about it, and I have no reason to believe that she's lying. But they're not. They're teams owned by rich people who are going to do whatever they want with them. And until you guys came along to stand in front of them and compel the state and the city to sue and compel Dr. Pete and the Haslams to jump in and actually buy the team and to call bullshit on all the bullshit that pre-court and the league was trying to jam down the throat of the city and disparaging the market and trying to ruin it on purpose. Until it saved the crew, you really couldn't save a team because these bastards do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. That is history. And
Don Garber said it yesterday.
History changed as of yesterday.
Yeah, Don Garber said it yesterday. He said straight up, I don't think that we as a league would have been willing to even consider making this decision to save the crew if it weren't for Save the Crew.
It obviously took more than the lawsuit, but the lawsuit was such a big key part of it.
Yes.
How soon do we see other lawsuits in other states start happening?
God, I hope soon.
Or not lawsuits, but laws.
Passing laws.
Right.
That's a really good question because one thing Garber said as we were breaking up or during this little confab we had around this small table at 2 Marinova. It's a beautiful place overlooking the Scioto River. Mm. But one of the things he was saying was he actually got quite animated and said, with his finger jutting out, I'm surprised that this hasn't happened in Oakland or San Diego. And it hasn't, although, Oakland has wrestled over the Raiders for decades. And they're going to be in Vegas soon. That's what I mean. It's like...
Well, they're done. They're not in Oakland now. They're
half
done.
of Oakland looked at Al Davis and said, fuck it, you can go.
Yeah.
We don't want
They're
you.
not going to be in Vegas next year, but they're not going to be in Oakland either.
Right. But the point, exactly. But the point is, he was saying, he was actually surprised that there weren't things like this in Oakland and San Diego, and he probably
You
named
mean
somewhere.
laws, or you mean movements, uprisings?
Right. And that is uniquely Columbus at this point in time. I think any number of fan groups are going to start to organize when faced with such a perilous condition as you people were. And I also think that there's any number. This is going to be written into. However, the law, and as it was litigated, it was obviously dismissed, is now fodder for people like Professor Stephen Bank at UCLA, who everyone started following here because he's a sports law expert and was very interested in this case. But this is going to be studied, and it's also going to be a blueprint for how to stand in front of this and do the right thing.
Goddamn
right. How to make a righteous case for a community's team.
Yeah.
I mean, this disgusting part about all of it, and this is where I really love Save the Crew so much, was that, and it took a lot of work from a lot of smart people in a lot of different walks of life on a volunteer basis, but the way you exposed their lies was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, I couldn't have written 2/3 of the stuff I wrote without Keith Nass and Tim Myers, I
always thought it was interesting listening to you and Andrew talk about the Keith Nasses and the Tim Myers of the world on the Speakeasy, because you guys are professionals at this.
It's your job to investigate.
Yeah. It's what you guys do, and I know that there were things that happen on a daily basis where both of you guys were like, damn, because specifically Keith the Threadmaster, it was just a nonstop barrage of.
It's good to see him on the front page of the paper.
Yeah.
Oh my God, his
deserved.
smile, wasn't that amazing? Like, that was just all of us.
He gives
that shot.
new meaning to spokesman.
What Keith was good at being on the front lines, and
breaking
just,
out of that late teen demographic. Also,
no, he was incredible. I mean,
but Tim with his research, Tim was so calculated and presented it so matter of factly that it was like, okay, if you can ignore Keith Nass's, destroy everything. AK-47 Threadmaster style, you can't argue with Tim Myers, well-researched, well-put together.
And a polished brochure at the end of it.
Exactly.
Just incredible.
96 pages long.
The other thing, too, it's along the same lines. And it was lucky that Andrew was here at this place in time for Save the Crew purposes.
Yeah.
Just one little sliver of what he did that so impressed me, having been someone who was a beat writer that was covering a team on the way out the door. But I always told him from the beginning that when they move, obviously that narrative changed as we went along, but when the team moves, that's going to leak somewhere else. You have no control of it. And one of the things he did within a span of months was he had Austin buttoned up. He had the city council button up. He was scooping the Austin American-Statesman, and it was clear to even you guys up here, not even you guys, but anyone with a head on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Should we include all of us?
I wouldn't.
But it was clear that they had one source in Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Andrew had, for instance, the city council.
Yeah.
Among others.
Their one source was Dave Greeley.
Yeah, and probably Settle too, but Greeley, Greeley was their pipeline. And you guys remember this, the last game of the year, who came up to visit?
Leslie Poole.
Leslie Poole, a member of the Austin City Council.
One of the most...
the beautiful woman.
Someone that I respect almost more than anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
she made the bed when she stayed in my guest room. Like I didn't have to get in there.
Yeah,
and make
you don't
the bed.
make the bed in your house.
She
so,
made it.
Yeah.
She's a legend. She's a legend in the bed making game.
Yeah, that's
I've
one of
always
the,
said that.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things about the blueprint of this was just finding people in the community. Like, if you need to make a change like this, there are already people in your world who can do those things. I mean, when we needed
pretty dang cool.
somebody to do that deep dive FOIA Act research, there was somebody who could do it. When we needed a graphic designer, somebody who knew how to handle merch, somebody who knew how to handle money, a legal person. Like, when you fuck with a community, all of those people are already there, and they're not doing this because it's their job.
You're
right.
They're doing it because it's our passion.
We didn't have to ask or convince a single person.
Yeah.
Either. I mean, like, even like the later people, like Andrew was like the last person to join us, our legal person. He came to us.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have to ask a single person. It was just like, it was either they came to us and were like, look, I can do this thing and I can do it better than the way you're doing it right now.
And you guys,
or they just like came out on their own and we were like, absorb.
Yeah.
Like with what happened with Tim and Keith. It was like Tim dropped that thing and we were like, wasn't like if we're going to like bring Keith on and Tim on. It was like when and like how and what jobs are we gonna?
Well, the first thing we did is we got Tim on ACES Radio. that was honestly the first thing.
I
Tim
remember
did.
that.
Yeah. Is he came on? I was shocked. He said yes. I was like, this guy's got to be some kind of like pro. I didn't even know what the hell he would have done, but I'm like, he has to be some sort of like nationally recognized pro. And then he came and he's like, yeah, sure, I'll do your stupid podcast. And it just turns out he's just a fucking Crew fan.
Yeah.
You know? Like
And a pro.
Badass. But I thought he was like a nationally recognized because it was so good.
What was truly impressive about you guys, now there was a group maybe of 20, let's say, that every day punched the clock on a volunteer basis, carried the mail and kept the sleep. But sustaining the momentum with not only that group of, say, 20, but the next 100, the next 100, the next 100, and the next 100 as you go up to 1,000 and more, sustaining momentum of that army for months and months and months, relentlessly forward, is an incredible achievement, and it's attributable in part, and this is what makes things different now, and why people like Don Garber are so scared. It's the way technology works now. The people that you had in your midst who were masters of modern communication and the way you implemented it. You can do these things now if you know what the hell you're doing. And you guys really knew what you were doing and actually were ahead of them at every step of the way.
Every single step of the way.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about stupid stuff, Darbs, like controlling the message or shit like that, just the stuff that I hate.
Yeah.
You know, it was an amazing performance, and I'm curious to see how it continues forward because I know it will under the new ownership group in conjunction with the new ownership group.
Yeah.
If the internet had existed in 95, the Browns would have never moved. There was a power to that you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was enough interest, anger, and fire in the street to do that in Cleveland in 1994-5. There was 96 it would have been. There was enough in its own way, in its own milieu to do that in Hartford in 1997, and I was there for that. But the tools weren't there, and it was until this time in this place, this confluence, until now, it was very easy for rich people to do whatever the hell they wanted.
Yeah, that's right.
With their little toys.
And they didn't have to be talented or good at what they did. They were just rich and they owned something. They could do whatever they wanted with it.
Any Anthony Precourt could move a team.
Yeah. I'm so happy that the first man baby that didn't get what he wanted was our fucking man baby.
Well, you know what? Let's
Yeah.
just for the sake of balance.
Why not us? Why not
They
now?
extorted $150 million out of the new ownership group.
Yeah, they did.
They got a franchise in Austin at no cost to Precourt.
Maybe.
And we'll see because they can screw that up.
They sure can.
You guys know that as well as anyone. They're fully capable. That management team that was imported from here and sent down the pike to Austin, they're fully capable of screwing everything up.
Sure.
Yeah. I hope they don't. Austin's a great place. They deserve a team. They don't deserve those people.
No.
And I wish Austin.
Some of them deserve those people.
Yeah.
I'm not going there. I wish no ill will.
Fine, I will.
I wish no ill will to Austin, but I do know this: they can screw it up down there. Boy, they're unbelievably capable of doing it.
Mike, let me ask you this.
Well, and I think the thing that's
go ahead, John.
Sorry. I think like
John, why don't you go?
I would say, who the hell's moderating this show anyway? That's what I used to say.
Everything you say is true, and
Andrew would back down. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not John though. He's going to plow forward.
I don't. He's not the boss of me. Everything you say is true, but the other thing to consider is even if they do get a team going and off the ground, I mean, it could end up being just like here. I mean, they could be the next revolution. They could be this irrelevant, just like
you know what,
vegetable of a corpse, like
broccoli, John, broccoli.
No, it's not.
It's a broccoli.
Broccoli is a vegetable.
That's what I'm saying.
You probably don't know much about vegetables because I've never seen you eat one. But
I've said this from the beginning too, John. That let's look at Atlanta, like never mind Austin in 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
or Cincinnati.
Granted, they have a committed
Cincinnati,
local owner, and it's a completely different animal than what Columbus has had.
You used to have to wait in line to get Montreal Impact tickets. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They weren't available.
Yeah, I mean Cincinnati also. I mean, what is going to happen when they move into the new stadium and they're not giving students $2, $5 tickets?
Well,
I mean,
exactly.
There are real things with this league that are either
it's a pyramid scheme,
potentially not addressed or are ignorantly ignored. I mean, like, they love to tout that, like, growth, but they don't ever acknowledge the fact that a large portion of their growth has been the fact that there are brand new cities and teams. It's not growing the markets that exist. It's just adding new markets.
They better hope they keep growing their game, because there's going to come a point, even within my lifetime, I don't know about Darbs, but within my lifetime, when
that was so fucking good. I can't even be mad about it.
I thought he said garbs.
Like well, either one actually. Yeah. Either one works in this scenario.
Hashtag
well
garbs.
There's going to come a time sooner than we think that they're going to run out of expansion markets and they're going to run out of new stadiums to build, or they're not going to get free stadiums that they want. Although they do have a new template now for somehow working out what they build. So
think about it. As exciting as this all is, we're now entering an era of MLS where teams are now building a second stadium.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Right?
The first stadium and the second stadium.
So,
Mike, let me ask you this question. You wrote a lot of columns in the last year plus on the Save the Crew debacle, on the ambitious...
Save the Crew moment. Thank you.
Whatever we're calling it.
Why did you call us a debacle, Morgan?
The Save the Crew
What kind of model man or whatever boy? Or
it's a moment.
Model
whatever
boy.
weird butt
model
baby boy child.
Oh my God! You hate to see it.
Baby boy child.
Baby boy child.
What debacle? I don't know where you're going with this.
The Save the Crew era.
The PSV debacle.
Yeah, the PSV debacle. Whatever we're calling
Save the Crew era.
So sort of like failing ACES Radio. It's a cheeky kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It wasn't a debacle. It
You
was
wrote
a soaring
a lot.
victory.
You wrote a lot of articles on this whole thing.
I did.
Have you experienced? Compare the reaction that you get to your, Blue Jackets columns, your Ohio State, your Hartford Whalers, your Larry Bird. Like, has there been an increase in, engagement from the Columbus Dispatch readers?
Well, sure, and I think that's in part because this was an important story. It's going to turn out to be a watershed moment in history, I believe, as I said. But it was also. You guys, and I'm always going to go back to you guys, but you guys are the one that made this a big story here in Columbus, Ohio, and actually made it a universal story, or at least a global story.
Talking about it on Jupiter.
I corrected myself, John.
Oh my gosh!
I corrected myself.
You did. Thank you for setting the record straight.
It's the number one topic in Uranus right now, John. It's trending there.
I don't know how you know that.
Darby Schnarfus has entered the game.
You can't be on Jupiter.
Totally
it's a
ripped that one off from the peanut gallery. Thank you very much.
Nowhere to stand on Jupiter.
You don't know that.
You can stand on Titan. You can stand on one of its moons, but Jupiter is
You can float
a
in
gaseous
its mass.
giant.
You could just be in it.
It's a dense gas.
You can be there.
There
There might be portions of it that are so dense. Almost as dense as Anthony Precourt, you might say.
Oh, my fucking God.
And you could stand on it.
Jesus
that
fucking
wasn't
Christ.
even that good.
Shit, Lord.
I hate to see that.
But this was reverberating in Europe for sure, and Australia. There was a few continents where, and you guys know as well as anyone, because this touches home for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it was another one of your catchphrases, which was absolutely true, or at least made people think all over the place, if not Uranus. And that is, if it can happen here, it can happen. It can happen anywhere. And
that is also true.
And this high stakes game of major professional sports.
Fantastic.
It was going to reverberate.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Just like Morgan's anus.
Oh, man. So there was some.
Well, but it's a great point. I mean, we started to hear rumblings about like, is there an
Morgan's
out
anus.
clause in Philly? Is there an out clause in Montreal? Is there is Chicago going to be replaced
not
by this
ask
new
Garber that?
USL team?
I was going to ask Garber that, and I thought, no, I'm not going to be.
Where are the other
I'm
out
not gonna be like
clauses,
that.
Don? Tell me.
Are there out clauses in your anus?
Where is she? You know what? I was thinking about it if there was a scrum. I was like 1-on-5, and I was going to ask him anyway. But in the scrum, there are a couple legitimate questions that are sort of prickly to throw out that you can't say, well, why did he ask that, or that's a gotcha. And one of them is quite legitimate. Is what other team owners have escape clauses, that specific escape clauses or otherwise in
to
their
specific cities. Interesting you should say that, Mike, because the league, Dan Cordesange, this year has pushed back against the Dispatch a couple times. They seem to have this relationship with the Dispatch where they fucking hate you guys. But then yesterday, Don Garber gets up there and makes one of the most smarmy, backhanded bullshit comments I've heard in the entire thing, where he says, I also want to thank the Columbus media for blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, you fucking hate the Columbus media and everyone knows it. And then he's like, I look forward to continuing coverage on and off the field. Was there any part of you that was like, you know what? Go fuck yourself, Don.
I'll say this. I'll put it this way.
It was very smarmy.
There's a reason why I wrote a more balanced column about Garber for this morning's paper.
Yeah.
And that is because one is because you guys won, and two is because you have to keep that in perspective. Although he was absolutely elemental to the clause in the sales agreement that said you can move the team to Austin, it seems clear, given the work that Keith Noss, among others, have done, that he was, including our Andrew Erickson and myself, that they were bent on the start to moving the team and specifically to Austin, that he was moved the crew way before he was saved the crew, and that he was moved the crew probably since 2013 when the team was purchased, signing the clause in the sales agreement. For all of that, he is, when you get down to it, a servant of the owners on his board of governors.
Amen.
He is a servant of the owners on his board of governors. Don Garber makes $5 million a year, which is a lot of money, but we'll just take the Haslam's money at the start. You want to start adding in the banks, and we can go on down the list. You're talking about billions and billions of dollars, and they hire him to be their lapdog.
Yep.
And so he's going to serve them. He's going to do what they want. He found someone to move the team to Austin, which obviously the league wanted at some point, and he found new billionaires to keep the team in Columbus, which is what his board of governors wanted by the end of this whole business, because you shoved them that way. So Don
I still
Garber,
thought what he said was gross. It was gross about that.
Don Garber can wear a black hat in this, but he is not, and it's more of a nebulous. He's not the puppeteer here necessarily. He had Precourt on a string for sure, and Precourt had him on a string. He serves the owners of this league, and he did what they wanted him to do. And he came out on the other side with a new set of owners in Columbus who are billionaires who are going to build a new stadium.
Yeah.
Which fits their pyramid scheme for a league financial plan.
Yeah.
So,
and he did that because we forced him into doing that. I still don't like the fact that he said, I look forward to continuing coverage from the media on and off. It was just very passive aggressive. Like
he was a poor sport yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
I'm sorry, he was a poor sport. He never smiled at any point. He never really applauded. He did this arm applause. He did this leg applause. Like I know he's probably being a butthurt little bitch because he got his ass whooped. But like, I'm sorry, suck it up. You were wrong, and accept that you were wrong, and just like. Even if you have to pretend, like, just do your fucking job and pretend. Your job is to pretend yesterday. And you didn't do your job. You better not pretending.
Yeah, this is for a team that, after we just busted our asses collectively as a community and saved it, you put us on one national broadcast game that's an away game next season. You had the best story in the fucking history of sports in America, and you're not going to put us on goddamn television?
I think the television guys make a lot more of that choice. They do
I think
have,
he could have an influence on
Yes, he has
that.
weight. Yeah, he has weight for sure. Absolutely. Yes.
Fucking
but that's a
put
great
our
point.
games against Atlanta, who literally every other game is on national
somebody
television.
else, somebody
Pick
said,
ours.
somebody said to me, I can't remember who it was. It may have been Tobias, somebody, or Donnie said that they wish they had asked Taylor Twellman, if everything that you're saying today you genuinely believe and you think is true, why has ESPN not picked up one of our games? ESPN isn't showing any games next year. Yeah, why? So why is if we're so, as great and this is as historical and incredible of a thing as Taylor Twellman is, I hope he's at ESPN lobbying for them to show one or two of our games.
He can say with some grounding that that's not his job. I mean, ratings are going to dictate that.
Sure, but if you believe that,
I would only add about Garber just to get this in.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take us away from.
No,
Garber,
that's all right. I did ask him if there's any kernel of mea culpa in him whatsoever, and he launched into a history of the Columbus Crew in Columbus.
So the answer is
yourself.
no. Yeah.
God forbid you admit that he was wrong.
Well, to be fair, Mike, I've put a lot of shitty people in charge of this team over the years, so what can you do? I mean, I don't feel bad about that.
I guess the thing is, we all know it, right? Like, even if he doesn't want to acknowledge it, when he says that, like, a lot of people doubted Columbus, we know that he's in the a lot of people. And as much as...
Nate Beckman.
Nate Beckman says Don Garber acknowledged
Drunk Nate Beckman from the corner.
Which is nice, but also...
Give those kids some yogurt, Nate.
Yeah.
That dude's an awesome Twitter follow.
Who?
I don't think that's
Nate
true.
Beckman?
Yeah.
He's great if you love emoji.
Oh, really? Frankie?
Yeah,
What's that
basically
Frankie
Nate Beckman is Frankie's alter ego. They both communicate only in emoji.
Oh, that's super.
That's true.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Roasted.
Yeah, he was sour sport yesterday.
I will say that we do have to, as a city, as a fan base, as a movement, as everything, we do have to. We have to move on. Yeah, I mean.
I agree. I'm
we have
ready.
to. We have to.
We won.
Be more. It's time to be the mature guys.
And
you know what? Tobias made it, and Donnie, I think, made great points. Like, there's no. Yeah, we can be petty and we can shit on them for the rest of the time. But I think the biggest thing that will really eat at them was us being gracious winners.
And winning MLS Cup. No pressure.
I got that line in my column about how, like, when he said parallel paths, no one even cringed. And there was a time when if you said parallel paths, like, people would have grabbed their paint cans.
Yeah, it was
and
more of an
scarves
eye
and-
roll than anything else.
I got like at least 4 text messages
guys-
when he
Whatever
said that,
helps
like,
you sleep at night, Donnie. Whatever
parallel
helps you
pass,
sleep
drink.
at night.
Oh, that was such utter. Oh God, I can't believe he brought
But yeah,
that up.
living well is
At
the
the end of the day, he had to
victory.
come to our city, and he had to had on not national television, but broadcast to the entire world via the internet. Had to say our name and admit that we won,
Yes.
and admit that he was wrong, and that
thank
is
you.
really the ultimate victory.
Let's say that. Thank you to Don Garber for acknowledging our existence, for acknowledging what we did. You did spend 15 months ignoring our existence, but when push came to shove, you stood on a podium in front of national television cameras, and you acknowledged Save the Crew and all that we accomplished as a community, and we appreciate that. So thank you for being willing to acknowledge everything that Columbus accomplished.
Completely unrelated news, but I want to get it out there in case I forget. The Crew SD shop just tweeted at that special Saturday sale. If you go to that, you can get the gold jerseys, buy one get one free.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, so they're open 10 to 3 on Saturday, I think, is their hours.
Do they have like?
I don't know the hours. Look them up yourself.
Do they
But
have like Haslam and Pete Edwards jerseys?
I'm sure that you can
You
request
can
them.
probably
down
get them
there, Mike.
customized, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
But
I
buy
wonder
one,
why,
get one on the
why
yellow.
they're pushing out the yellow jersey.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't get jerseys.
What are you waving about?
No, I'm just a crusty old sports guy. I get a Dr. Pete jersey.
I don't care about that much.
Edwards and then 9.67 is the number.
Did you say it was buy one, get one free, or is
That's
it buy
pretty
one,
good.
get one half off?
No, it's
or-
buy one
that's
get
pretty
one
good.
free.
Wow. Okay.
All right, so
Buy one yellow jersey, get one free.
buy one yellow jersey, get one free. The Crew
Just
has said
Saturday.
stop.
Everyone who's been waiting and said, like, we need new
There you
ownership
go.
before I'll spend a dime.
Yeah.
There you go.
It sounds like me
fucking-
and Ivan are gonna go.
Last thing I'll say about
buy one of those yellow
the
jerseys.
Garber thing is
Be my
I think
first
that
jersey in 3
I think that
years.
it's the same.
Yeah.
The same argument needs to be made with people that are talking right now about going back to the old construction worker logo. Guys, we're moving forward. We're not moving backwards. This is not MAGA. We're
And we
not
don't
make
need
the
to
crew great
rebrand
again.
again.
We're just gonna be great, and that's fucking it.
You got your brand adjustments. You don't have to call them Columbus Crew SC anymore.
You don't have to say shit.
You don't have to.
And if you
all that
like
kind
the
of
old
stuff.
construction worker logo, then motherfucking wear it.
Yeah,
Like,
they're still
one's-
out there.
They're
I
not
got 'em.
coming.
I own them.
I just bought one.
When they rebranded, they didn't say
3 months
get your
ago.
jerseys, bring them to the stadium. We're setting
John,
on
did
fire.
you work on the Circle logo?
No, that was
You didn't?
Eric
It was just
Sinicki.
Eric and Jay, right?
Wallace. That's
Wasn't
a
Jay
fine
Wallace?
logo. I got no problem keeping it. I mean, just me talking.
Who was the
objectively.
other designer? It had to have been Jay.
I mean,
No,
when
it
I
wasn't.
when I sit down and write about him, I just write Crew, and I have for a long time. You know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Second.
Well, I mean, I've always made the
Second
argument that
thing is
it
black and
doesn't
gold.
matter what the hell they say. I mean, like, I'm sure that there's like a thing in a Tottenham Hotspur guide somewhere that we would prefer if
Will
you call
Bennett.
us the Tottenham Hotspurs or whatever, but nobody calls them that. Everybody calls them the fucking Spurs.
Yeah, but not on every press release. The
Well,
thing on
no.
the bottom.
No.
I mean, jeez.
People still call it Crew Stadium. If you want to call it
I call it
Columbus
Crew-
Crew,
yeah, I call it Crew Stadium.
Fucking
Talking
do
to
that. There's
Frankie
nothing that
yesterday.
stops
You know when I
as a human
stopped?
being from doing
You know when
it.
I stopped
Who's
doing
making
that?
that awful?
I think
It's
that's
Mike
mine.
smashing his hand on everything, and Darby holding his microphone out of the
because if I don't hold it,
I'm
you
saying
don't
it's
hear me at
Darby,
all.
probably John. You know when I stopped calling it Crew Stadium and started calling it Moffrey Stadium was it was in the fall of 17 when I was like, you know what, Moffrey Stadium ponied up.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Fuck yeah, they did.
I call them that, or I call them the Fray.
They ponied up.
It's fine.
The
like,
Columbus partnership, because the Crew couldn't sell anything in that business office. The partnership handed them Moffrey and Acura. And after it came down that they wanted to move the team in October, I'm like, I actually had a line in a column. I said, you know, I've been sort of cheeky about calling it Spanish Actuarial Stadium or just Crew Stadium flat out. And I said, I'm just going to call it by the bought name now because unlike a lot of people, they actually shelled out money for the naming rights.
Yep.
And in this particular situation, and I hate the naming rights thing as a sports writer because I can't even keep track of what frickin' arenas are named anymore. But in this specific instance, I was and I didn't mess around with it anymore. I just called it Moffrey Stadium through. That's it.
Yeah,
just
they paid money.
No more fun.
Yeah.
No, but they paid money to this team in this market.
Right.
And that
they bought into Columbus.
and
they didn't buy into fucking Precourt.
They're in Columbus. Matter of fact, that Spanish insurance company bought a long-standing Columbus company, and then at the partnership's behest, paid to have naming rights to that stadium. And so after Precourt's little bathroom announcement in October of 2017, I even wrote it. I said, I'm going to just call this. I'm not going to mess around with it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like Columbus Crew SC. I don't think as an American team you need to put on any airs and pretend you're something other than exactly what you are.
But if you do, then do it when you name it. Like, unfortunately, we've been the Columbus Crew for 23 years. Like,
No.
You know, don't expect us to
Sam
say
Fahmy
SC.
made a good point. We were having a bit of a conversation on Twitter the other day with some people, and he said that the thing that's important to include in the name, if you're going to include something, is the word Columbus.
Exactly.
Not the
Absolutely
SC.
true. Yep.
You include the word Columbus.
Yep.
You
Brand
make
your city.
you be a stickler about the word Columbus. You don't be a stickler about the fucking SC part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Last thoughts, Drabs?
He's been quiet.
Nah, he died.
We're good.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, we're good.
Somebody put a mirror under his nose.
Is he breathing?
Yeah.
Get the paddles.
It is cold in here. I know he has trouble warming himself up. All the
My
old
feet are a
do.
little chilly. I'm not gonna lie. Like every time the heat kicks on, it's
That's nice.
1,000 degrees.
Yeah,
but then my feet are so cold.
We record in a glass
Circulation's
box.
first to go.
That's
Yeah.
our biggest issue. Shout out to Mike Arache. Thanks for stopping by, my friend.
Pleasure.
You can definitely stick around for segment 3 if you'd like. I know you got to get on a bus early tomorrow morning, so you probably need to go home. Tuck the kiddos into bed. Give them some unflavored yogurt.
Are you doing that? Are
Get
you
on the
riding
bus.
with the fans?
That's right,
You
yeah.
didn't sleep on the bus.
The merry pranksters. Get on the bus.
Yep. And on behalf of all of us, thank you for doing what you've done over the last year plus. Couldn't have done this without you. You guys are truth tellers, and I don't care what Dan Cordemanch says. The Columbus Dispatch is one of the best
Did you
papers in the
interact
land.
with Dan at all?
Yes, I did.
If you'd like the shitlord around segment 2, lads,
That's
I got
all
some
we'll
great news. We're coming back on segment 3 with your hot takes and more. My friends, my mapaches, my amigos de Guillermo. You are listening to the failing trash pit known as ACES Radio.
Hot, sicker than your average. Down like goose and I'm fly like Maverick.
Hey, ignorant sluts, shitlords, celebrity fans, all you fools listening on your iPhones, and founders of Crew Union who are stuck in federal penitentiary prison this weekend. Welcome back. It is episode 109 of the Failing Aces Radio. My name is Coach Carol Seaver, and if you're watching Wednesday Fundamentals, I'm shooting hoops in a Castor warehouse. Brought to you as always by Blood and Urine. We're here at Endeavor Brewing Company, who, it's worth mentioning, Drabs, has just released a saved beer. It's called Saved.
I mean, they did, and then we promptly destroyed the
Yeah,
fucking
out of
keg.
it.
In
I
like
went
a
and just
second.
I went and ordered one. They're like, nope.
Yeah, no, they were out in the first break, I believe.
And if it was if that was 1,500 barrels of beer and it was BrewDog, they would donate $400 to save the crew.
But good news is they do have a big ass batch. Like there's more coming. So it's just we killed what they have.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to segment 3 before the wetness. The wet boy Sean Sitar gets back from making toilet weenus. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Beckman, a.k.a. Susan the Snake.
Nate Beckman, who told us he wasn't going to be able to join us today because of kid stuff.
Yeah, no, that was actually the sound of him peeing.
Were you getting back from a Blue Jackets game? Is that what's going on? You getting your Ron Tugnut on?
Nope.
No, he strapped his kids into the bed.
Yes.
We were talking about this. Like, basically, he dosed them up with Benadryl and tied them under the bed so they couldn't get out. And he's like, sweet, I get to go. I'm done.
What the fuck is Sriracha trying to do over
I
there?
had unknown kid duties. When I showed up at home. And then, whatever.
Because your wife is more important than you are, basically.
Let's just say safe.
Dude,
She's
Nate, you
important.
don't
The kids
live
are
close
safe.
to here. You live in, like, Muirfield Drive.
He lives in
I made it
Dublin-Columbus, Ohio.
Now, first of all, congratulations on all your success. You smell terrific.
Yeah.
Muirfield Drive. Here we go. Please don't do that. Please don't kiss your biceps and smell your armpit.
There was no kissing. I think that was just an armpit smell.
It was just a smell.
Hey, Darbs, hashtag Drabs, can you control your fucking guest to the right? What is Arache trying to do over there?
It's hashtag Darbs.
He's not a handy man.
He's
as
not
it
a
turns out.
podcastman
He
either.
can't work a clamp.
No.
So.
You should see our studio at the Dispatch. It is sweet.
I've seen it. I've been to the
Oh,
Erickson
the
Memorial.
Erickson Memorial?
Yeah, it's sweet.
Do you
Maybe
have,
we could rent out
do you
their
have clamps
facility.
or not clamps?
It's awesome.
On Thursdays.
No, we don't.
Guessing
have
you don't have clamps.
No, we have.
You've
They
never
probably
seen
don't
shit
have
like
a
this before in your
table made
life.
out of a fucking log either, so
This
that probably
is
helps.
the log table's pretty cool though.
I'll say this. I've
not
been on
functional.
a lot of interviews, a lot of shows during the Save the Crew era. The Dispatch podcast room is the most pro. It's the highest level of pro, and I include Ann Fisher in that.
I'm going to see if I can help him. This is a two-man job over here, clearly.
I still don't know what the fuck he's trying to do.
His clamp came loose.
It's like a.
Well, tighten it. Jesus Christ.
It's like a Rube Goldberg thing over here.
It's not. It's literally a thing that you twist and make it tighter. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, Arache. Jesus
All I
Christ.
can say
I guess they don't teach that when you're
massive
eating
generics.
weird Connecticut
It
pizza.
was tightened like 5 times too tight for this.
You're from Upper Arlington. You're going to tell me about pizza.
You fucker. Stop knowing things about me. How dare you? Nate, what if I told you there was a cure for the scourge that is personal details being available to Columbus Dispatch editorial writers?
I would plug the Bridge Street
fixed.
Pizza.
That's right,
Because
Nate.
that's how Dublin does pizza.
They say the only
Is
cure
that
for
Pizza
the
Hut?
scourge that is getting the goddamn shit out of John Zidar's seat are hot takes.
Nothing is impossible. Make your dreams come true.
And now, an Aces Radio exclusive. The battle for the grand
Except it's
prize.
not. The battle
Hot
for the
takes
grand
from
prize.
the
we're
soccer.
for the intros.
We're
You're
doing
not gonna
this.
stop there.
I mean, we're doing segment 3.
Hot
Maybe I
takes
should
from
have
Twitter.
left.
He's heating up.
Hot takes
He's on fire.
from you.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't, Walter.
Jesus Christ, Darby.
Oh, it's so good.
There was a second there where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's happening. His soul is leaving his body.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's had enough.
The best part of me just left.
That was so perfect.
I was expecting it to like rise up and like survey the room and look for like its next host, and then just go towards Brent probably because he's like the youngest.
You're talking about Darby like he's a bad guy in a
Which
Ghostbusters
flesh
movie.
vehicle will last the longest?
Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, shout out to everyone watching on Periscope. We're not on Periscope. Sorry about it, Nate. You're actually in the room right now. Go fuck yourself. We move now to the subreddit known as Massive Lads, where I remind you, as always, these hot takes are organized automatically by their level of fiery fucking hotness. Today's topmost of the popmost comes to us from none other than Lamborghini with 8 points. Quote, "We are all so blessed for Dong Grabber to have saved our team. He could have just as easily gone through with the move, but he single-handedly saved the team, and it's in his top 3 career accomplishments. Couldn't you tell by the excitement on his face? Let's give him another round of applause." End quote.
He approaches the baby gangster.
Drolby Screenface, your thoughts? Is that all you're going to do today? All right, there's a round of applause. Yeah, Nate brought up a good point. Taylor Twellman at the end of...
I'm going to cut your fucking hands off if you don't knock that off.
Jesus. Towards the end of the thing, Taylor Twellman was like, I'm a mouthpiece for the league, so I do have to get up and say Don Grabber was really instrumental, so another round of applause for Don Garber. And everyone was like...
That was not the strongest applause that happened that day.
It was the weakest shit.
Well, first of all, it's always just a bad move to demand a second round of applause for anybody when they've just left. Like, you already got applause. Like, be happy with what you got. And somebody's
true.
like, give them another round. Like, no, we did that.
Yeah, we already half.
We clapped as much. We clapped as much as we want to clap for you, sir. Thank you.
There were barely claps, and then he was like,
Right.
come on.
That's where I think he
Moving.
gets super salty.
The
After that,
fuck
he
on.
missed the rest of it.
From user Columbus Crew Eagle with 6 points, quote, "Hello, Ace. If I win grand prize in 2019, I come on final show for a year as segment 3 guest and talk and tell story as large eagle who love crew. Marigan. How baby eagle egg should be few months from birth. Please take care, pillows. Thank to Sitar for save crew. How drab still alive. Give eagle blood points. Columbus Crew Eagle. Enjoy blood of enemies." End quote.
There's nothing like that, penis bread.
Michael Arate from The Dispatch, your thoughts?
I was just going to say this modern press conference it's a modern development in message control. It used to be you have a press conference, and they don't have 3 rows of people in front to applaud. You guys are great in back. I can't believe they shunted you to the back. But
Yeah.
In back, I mean, this was a celebration for you guys as much as anything. But I don't know who was in the first 3 rows, but
Bunch of mucky mucks.
I'm even older
I
than
think Karen Crognell got in.
Yeah, they at one
and
point
Steps
someone
FC, I think, snuck up there.
at some point someone came back and asked if any of us wanted to go up and
John
sit and
Zadar
fill in
has
some
coughed
rows.
into the microphone.
But nobody really wanted to because we didn't want to. We wanted to be together.
Well, I'm just
Thank you,
cranky,
Corinne.
Chris. I won't go on about this, but have a press conference. Don't fill rows for people to applaud.
Yeah.
Fake applause.
Moving the fuck on. From user Kleb Porter with 4 points, quote, "Hey all, it's new coach Caleb Porter, K. I just wanted to thank the fans, K. They done so much of the part of Save the Crew movement to help me come home, K. I think any self-respecting man would tell people to stop harassing the snake oil and queso salesman, K. I just can't wait to get in fights with European managers on the touchline at Mafra, K. We're going to win the U.S. Open Cup this year, K." End quote. Sean Sitar, the wetness. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not listening.
Oh, is that right? Drolby Screenface, your thoughts?
slacking.
Oh my God, John Zadar also in mid-season form right now.
Moving on, from user the crew Pat with 4 points, quote, "Thank Guillermo that the crew is saved because now I get to listen to the same recycled jokes from Morgan, the heavy breathing of John not paying attention during these hot takes, and Darby having to deflect a constant barrage of horse intercourse jokes. It's good to be back. Hashtag unblock Cowtown Ben." End quote. Darby, your thought?
I'm just glad that things still come out of my penis. It's not coughing dust every time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, can we talk about the unblock Cowtown Ben hashtag for just a moment here?
I totally feel fine with the crew blocking Cowtown
Yeah,
Ben.
no,
I was trying to hint at Ben last night to look at the STC account, but I don't think he ever caught on because I went on it and blocked him.
Yeah, my hashtag is block or ban Cowtown Ben from Twitter. That's the new movement.
Ooh.
Now that the team has been saved, it is my goal to get him entirely banned from Twitter in its entirety.
Cool.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
This just in, ACES radio listeners, go to Cowtown Ben's
War on
Twitter
Cowtown
account and
Ben.
report him for targeted harassment.
Yeah, and all you casual fuckboys who are like, "Oh yeah, unblock Cowtown Ben," you're totally missing the point here.
Yeah.
Block him, make him pay
Alex
for the rest
Sprague's.
of his long ass life for his foolish, youthful indiscretion.
I mean, to be fair, he did tweet and say, "I hate that I am having to suffer consequences from my
I know.
actions."
But it's much more fun to make him continue to suffer as a result of it.
Reality is very unfortunate. Moving on, from user Ghost of Stern John with 3 points, quote, Has John Sitar saved the crew yet. End quote.
Let me smash.
Mike Arache from the Dispatch, your thoughts.
I'll take a hard pass on that, Morgan.
Is that right? Drolby Screenface, your thoughts.
I like John Sitar. Jahn. Yeah.
Moving on from user Tim
Don't
Bezbachenko.
associate me with that fucking loser.
From
Only
user
dreams
Tim
now.
Bezbachenko with 3 points. Quote,
Yeah, you were talking about his professional playing dreams. Oh,
nice to see you guys at the
okay,
announcement
C's
yesterday.
No one's
I'm
trying
so
to do a thing.
thrilled
Darby, please stop.
to be a part of the organization and want to make an impact immediately with the fans. And that means listening to this podcast. I've been listening and I have a lot of questions. Looking forward to pinging in with you guys as the season goes forward. End quote. Shantatar. Tim Bezbachenko is now on the subreddit known as A Massive. Your thoughts?
Great.
Yellow Beach, Columbus Crew.
Moving on from user Basketball Emoji with 3 points. Quote, first I have to sit through Are You Okay Dung Arbor taking credit for saving the crew, talking about top 3 accomplishments of his life. Like, what? Now I can only assume we are well into hour 3 of this trash pocket because the failing hashtag Morgs has spent way too much time taking credit for hashtag Zides and hashtag Darbs. Hard working to save the crew. Next, you'll tell me it's mandatory to go read some East Coast elites diatribe about how Caleb Porter is a failed hire weeks before the season even starts, but I refuse. I won't listen, and I damn well won't read. 2019 is the year of sunshine. I'm leaving Aces Radio in 2018. Hashtag thank you next. End quote. God damn. Mike Arache from the Dispatch, your thoughts.
He just weighed in 2019, Morgan. I just wanted to point that out.
Okay. You're going to talk on the side of the microphone all of a sudden?
Well, he said that.
Gangsta!
Thanks, Nate.
That was gangster.
Oh my god, I love drunk Nate Beckman. It's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That,
Can anyone even hear what he's saying? Like,
that's the joke.
I mean, I know we can, but like on the podcast, like later, the recording.
We need like a separate recording
Test.
so like
1,
you can
2.
add in
Check,
Nate
check,
after the
check.
fact.
Tune in
Be
to
like-
find out.
No, we don't.
Aces Radio side conversations where like all the peanut gallery bullshit gets picked up.
No, I was just saying that he said he quit Aces Radio in 2018, which he should. But then he goes
now
and
here he
presents
is.
in 2019.
Oh my.
Moving
That's all I'm
on. From user Zappalicious with 2 points, quote, the Columbus Crew is both the greatest team the world has ever seen and America's hardest working team. That is all, end quote. Sean Sitar, your thoughts?
Yep.
It's the first Hotake of 2019.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Great analysis, Drabs.
How many of these are there?
There are 3 of them. Moving on from user YDZ, what the fuck? With 2 points, quote, so with hashtag hell is real being real, can you imagine the pounding Josephie's mom's vag is going to take in August?
Shit.
Like from both directions, Cincy and Columbus. Hashtag DVDA. Hashtag probably riding cock, end quote.
Oh.
Sean Sitar, your thoughts?
No more acronyms. God damn it.
John, do you know what DVDA means?
No.
It means double dash, double anal.
Oh, okay.
I wish I didn't know that.
I'll bring the horsey sauce.
Wait, is that
Sophie's mom.
at the same time? Like 4?
We go
Oh
now.
who is supposed to be enjoying that in that situation?
How is that physically-
Who's having fun?
Not even for the woman, but like, how do you fit that many man groins
Right,
in
that's
a
what
small
I'm saying.
space?
No one's having. Right, how do you even get 4 dicks in
Right.
there? And then once they're in there, like who's enjoying it?
At
Like,
least 2 of those have to be fake dicks.
Who's enjoying it?
They're
Well,
plastic penises.
First of all, we
DVDA expert Nate Beckman. You're saying this is definitely a thing that can happen, and you've seen it happen, and you participated in it. Yes, confirmed.
answer.
Here on Aces
Please
Radio.
don't
Here to hear first.
actually, I went.
The guys from South Park, they're like,
That's the
rock
band.
band,
We know.
so
We
like
know.
Parker
We know. It's very funny.
That's it.
We go now live to Josephie's mom down in Cincinnati for her thoughts on said sexual experience.
Oh God, yeah. That's about the only appropriate.
That's what she would.
Wilhelm
she-
scream.
That's what she said. Moving on. From user Aces Archives with 1 point, second to last hot take of the night, lads. Quote, welcome back, shitlords. This edition of the Master Report is brought to you by, oh wait, you're kidding. He didn't just say what I think he did he? And Aussie Greg said, Nothing, you idiots. Aussie Greg's dead. He's locked in John's basement. So will the real Dave Greeley please stand down and put one of those briskets in each hand down and be proud to be out of your job and thoroughly screwed one more time, loud as you can, save the crew, because he's Dave Greeley. Yes, he's hella greedy. All his Austin bots are authentically shitty. So won't the real Dave Greeley please stand down? Please stand down. Please stand down. Hashtag Throwback Thursday, end quote.
There's nothing like that, penis bread.
Drolby Scrinface, your thoughts?
Nate, is that you? What? Is Ace's Archive you? That feels like it should be you. Okay. I'm going to trust you. Oh, is it one of you people who share the same fucking account among 37 people?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Moving the fuck on. Last hot take of the night, lads, comes to us from none other than user Morgan's Glasses. With the -1 points, quote, "Hey there, I've now become a part of Morgan's face because he's an old. He can't see without me. If you can look past the boat shoes, whitewashed jeans, and track jackets, you'll find yourself looking at me. Don't I make Morgan look so punchable? Please remove me from his face before you go to town, you kilt-wearing motherfuckers," end quote. What does that mean? Everything made sense about beating the shit out of me until the
Lost me at
kilt-wearing
the kilt-wearing.
Michael Arache, your thoughts?
If only there were a Scottish shitlord that we could reference with this.
I'll have to be with Zides on this one.
Please don't call him Zides.
Yeah,
no one
thank you
no
very
one
much.
is saying
Oh my God,
Zides.
Thank you very much.
No,
John, do you want that as your ringtone?
please don't say that.
Like
Him
you-
saying Zides?
Yeah, I think you do.
Well, that'd be fine, but it's
don't-
2018, Darby. Nobody calls people anymore.
Well, I mean, notification.
No, my phone's on permanent.
Would you like it
silent.
as your notification? Is it not a question that people ask each other? Would you like this as your notification?
I'm going to set it as
What am
my
I, at a
email
restaurant?
signature.
What am I ordering
Zides.
things? Darby, you bitch. Ain't nobody got time for this. That's the last hot take of the night.
Nobody likes your glasses and your face is stupid.
And
And you're not wearing boat shoes anymore. It's 2019, New Morgan, New Year.
Hashtag New Morgan, New
Hashtag
Year.
The thing is, since he's unemployed, he can't afford boat shoes anymore.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wait, did you say Nude Morgan, New Year?
Nude Morgan, New
Oh,
Year.
okay.
Yeah. All he's got on is these new glasses and these new shoes.
Well, I grew up in a religious
you
family. There's a
literally
lot
hate
of
to see
self-loathing going on here, John. I'm not sure I want to do that. Darby, your blood points. They go to the phone users, my friend.
Both my blood points this week go to John Sidar.
Oh,
What
my
the
God.
fucking
Thank
fuck?
you.
This is a
Darby,
bullshit.
what
Yeah.
a legend.
You know what? All you off-season people who are pandering for blood points with your 12 posts here on Reddit, how dare you? We could have gone home.
Don't
a
you
half
talk
hour
shit
ago.
about the studio audience, Drabs. It's
How
unacceptable.
dare you.
Michael Rache from the Columbus Dispatch, your 2 blood points of the night go to the following users, my friend.
I don't know what this is, Morgan.
Any of the people who posted those stupid hot takes you didn't listen to, you can give them points.
Darling Thief. Say Darling Thief.
If you want to give them to Drabs and Zides, that's
No, I
fine.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
They're not users.
Favorite ridiculousness.
Hashtag Darbs.
No.
All right, who's the dude that was saying it was the Finches?
What is that? Let me
That's
see
Dave
that.
Hageman.
Where'd that come from? What is that? Is that a magnet?
That's a massive Canaries magnet.
Where'd you get this?
Oh, that's not a Finch's one. I thought it was.
Oh.
See,
that-
somebody put one of those magnets in the back of my car too.
This predates.
Wait, so
all-
you have
this
a Canaries magnet, not
Yeah.
a
This-
Finch's magnet?
This predates all Finches with a Z or otherwise.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, the Canaries thing's not
So
new.
I won the internet.
Of course, it's not.
yeah.
What do you
Where
mean
did
you
that
won the
come
internet?
from?
So
Where'd that come from?
Because Endeavor is the spot to like leave mail for people. Like they left it here for him.
Oh, they did.
someone left this for me, and
Oh.
so
your
I
blood
just want to
points-
give my blood points to the man I just defeated on Twitter.
Okay, Dave
Finch-
Hageman.
Finch
Dave
guy.
Hageman.
Yeah.
Michael Rache would like you to
Thanks
shut
for-
the fuck up
Yeah.
forever about
No,
the
no,
birds.
no. Keep it good. Thanks for playing.
Keep it nice.
Thanks for playing,
Thanks
bitch.
for
Yeah,
playing.
thanks for playing.
I hope to hear and see more media coverage about canaries.
Where does Dave Hageman live? In Akron or something?
Lynchburg, Virginia.
Ew. Why? Ew.
A lot of finches there, from what I've heard.
Stupid. Why does he not live here? Get your shit together, Dave.
I don't know.
Thanks
I think
for
he
playing,
knocked
Dave.
a woman up there or something.
Ew. Gross.
Agreed.
Yeah. Did I tell you that I had a dream that Pam was cheating on me?
Yes.
Do you want to tell
It's
it
really
on the air, though?
It's really sticking with you, huh?
Do you want to? Yeah, hang on.
Last night I woke up and I wasn't really sweating. I wasn't that upset.
There wasn't that much sweat.
But
Was
I
there
thought-
any sweat?
There was a moment,
Maybe
you know,
just like in the darkest parts of you?
Gary was laying on my legs. Yes, there was possibly
yeah,
some
there was
warmness.
some-
and
So there's
some
sweat on a quarter-sized part of his leg.
Yes. Why? That was it. That's the whole story. John Zadar, your blood points, my friend.
I'd love to give my blood points today to hashtag Darbs.
No.
And one
please don't.
Hashtag,
Why are you
I love to hear it. You love to hear it.
I'm giving my other one to hashtag ours. I don't know what to shorten your name to, but
No, what the fuck? 7 seconds ago, you didn't even know what this was. Now you're applauding? Bunch of horseshit. Darby, don't you do this?
I hear hashtag Darbs. It's very exciting.
Just because you guys are friends, don't call each other hashtag. That's not how this works.
no, you've just never been to Best Friends lunch. This is a thing we all do.
I've been to Breast Friends lunch a lot.
Breast Friends
I was at
lunch
Breast
again?
Club.
Again, really?
Are we talking about
Show?
cahoots? Breast lunch?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never been to
No
that.
sneeze guards where we go to have lunch.
You wonder why
Never.
Pam's cheating on you.
That's actually where I met my whore wife at cahoots. She was cheating on me in my dream. What a bitch.
The in-studio audience actually went, oh, at that joke. Like, more than one of them were like, oh, bad taste, bad form, Morgan.
Too far.
No.
You know it's bad when, like,
I have
ACES
zero
radio
regrets.
listeners are
It
like,
was
that was
audible
excessive.
enough I could hear it
That
through
was
my headphones.
unnecessary what just happened.
I made jokes about throwing Pam down the staircase just in case for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And today I'm like, she worked at Cahoots once. Everyone's like, too far.
The group of people who are like, more jokes about horse fucking are like, no, cahoots, that's off.
We were talking about
No.
4 dicks going to Josephine's mom like 5 minutes ago. And I was like, Pam was gainfully employed. And they're like, unacceptable. No. You dirty motherfucker.
You crossed the line, Morgan.
I guess so.
How dare you?
That line is on Henderson Road, right near Kenny. Shit. We have no game to preview. We have no blood point overall standings. We have no trophies to give away because I've won them all drabs.
No point.
We have no reason to be here. We have no good reason to exist. So let's just close this bitch out. Episode 109. What a treat it was. John, what's GCG bag got going on this weekend?
Well, right now, they're out there having their preseason meeting, and they're doing some wheeling and dealing. And let me just tell you, there's some exciting news regarding them and Massive Report.
What?
That's all I'm going to
What?
say.
Oh, my God.
There may be equally exciting news regarding them and us.
And ACES Radio?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are we in like a bidding war for GCG bag?
I don't know. I
What,
will
like, how
neither
much-
confirm nor deny that
Is
that's
this
why I
how
was
much
late
we'll
to
pay
segment
Massive
3.
Report to take them?
Yeah, because I'm in for that.
Yeah. I'll give you $100 if you will take credit for
Okay,
GCG
and
bag,
this
please.
is what they call in the industry a tease.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Ew, I don't want this.
That's what Pam said when she saw you cahoots.
Oh, but that was funny.
That's empowerment, Morgan.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Michael Rache, thanks for stopping by. You got any last words?
Pleasure's all mine, Morgan. Thanks for coming on.
What a treat.
Thank you.
What a
Thanks
treat.
for coming on the podcast, Morgan.
You're a
Pleasure was all ours.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
It was
Yeah.
definitely all on this side of the table.
Yeah. Darby,
I
any-
shouldn't have sat in on this segment.
No.
You should not have. No.
No.
We can edit you out.
Lost a lot of credibility.
Yeah. We can edit you out.
That's true, Shaq.
Drabs, any volunteer opportunities this weekend?
Some Save the Crew volunteers are going to be at the Van Buren shelter this Sunday. You are not welcome because the slots are all full. In fact, we're all set for January, but in February we'll be posting some more opportunities. This is going to be a thing we do 2 times a month, so there will be lots of volunteer
Until we do it
opportunities.
more than 2 times.
Yeah, like it's really cool. So keep an eye on the Save the Crew account because once it's a little closer to that time, we'll be posting more information.
Fan-fucking-tastic. I speak for all of us here at ACES Radio to all of you out there, wherever you are. Remember, the light at the end of the tunnel might be you or a train if you're standing on some tracks, so get the fuck out of the way. We got a bus to Chicago tomorrow. I know myself. Michael Arache is going to be there. K-Rob Photo, maybe the Podfather too. Andrew Erickson at AEricksonAU. Hashtag RBS. On behalf of all of us here at Aces Radio, we thank you for listening to episode 109. We saved the fucking crew. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Von Siegel, Brent, Naked Bottom Bucket Boy, Pete Shahada, Nate Beckman, and all you losers that booed me for making a great joke. All Lord Gamro's people said, we saved the crew. Holy shit. It happened. I saw it. It's the end of it. It's the end of the show.
Is this the end?
Yeah, it's the end.
Should I wish?
That's the end.
That's the end. All right, everyone clap. Oh, what a treat it's been here on episode 109.
That's how it
Fake
is.
outro. That's what they
Oh,
call
my
it.
God.
Fake outro in the industry. I'd like to say that joke about cahoots was funny.
Well,
and that everyone liked it. And you know what?
there's more. There's a lot of like not there.
Yeah.
0 out of 2 McGoldricks found that joke funny, and I've only given a shit about one McGoldrick in my life, and it was the boy McGoldrick, who mysteriously slept on the floor in Washington, D.C., and everyone was like, who is this stranger? He's
I'm
dangerous.
not sure if, following that up with misogyny was the best route.
No regrets.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Please have a party. Feed us drinks. Get us laid. Ow!
Dude, don't pretend like you're busy working or something, dude. You know you're in bed, just watching PlayStation or something like that.
That's the word on the street.